Manchester leading the series 2-1. The LA Kings affiliate taking on the home team, the Vancouver Canucks affiliate. Jacob Markstrom in goal to the left. It is Patrick Bartasek making his first playoff start to our right. An injury to J.F. Berube kept him out for the final 52 minutes of Game 3. He has not dressed here in Game 4. Lacey Hamilton will take the opening faceoff against Nick Down for the Manchester Monarchs, and we are underway in Game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals. I'm Brendan Burke. Thanks for tuning in. Utica Hockey is presented by GPO Federal Credit Union. Our focus is you. It is an intimate but loud environment here at the Aud, all dressed in white in what has become a playoff tradition in the 12th consecutive playoff shutout, sellout here in Utica. Bobby Sanguinetti wraps it around the boards as bodies fly, and it's steered up off the glass and out of play. And a faceoff will stay inside the Utica zone as the referees put on the spot right away. Our officials tonight are brought to you by our friends over at the Dove Eye and Laser Center in New Hartford, and Dr. Anthony Palumbo. TJ Luxmore and Garrett Rank are the referees. Ryan Gibbons and John Grant. Now they're discussing whether or not that puck was deflected over the glass, which is what the initial call was. And after a conversation involving the two linesmen as well, that call is confirmed, and the faceoff will stay inside Jacob Markstrom's zone. No shots on goal to speak of in our first 28 seconds of play. The Comets did take a penalty on their first shift of the game on Wednesday night as well. Brandon DeFazio for cross-checking. And it is DeFazio now getting on the ice with the Utica Comets, Hunter Shinkarik and Will Acton. And now after another conversation, they are going to move the face-off outside the Comet zone, saying that not only was the puck deflected, but it was deflected by a Manchester Monarchs player. Defensive pairing Corrado and Biega. Comets had a dominating first period of play that Utica head coach Travis Green said maybe the best period his team has played in the playoffs. This is their 22nd playoff game, and have had a few multiple overtime games as well, including a 4-overtime affair against Oklahoma City, which is 2 games all wrapped up into one. Puck played along the boards, and Michael Mersch ripped one from a bad angle on goal. Markstrom was there to make the save, and then off the glass, Hunter Shinkarik got it to center ice. Brandon DeFazio swipes at it, but it's played to Bodnarchuk instead for the Monarchs. Right side, Jordan Wheel cutting across the line, finding it into the glove of Mersch. Mersch set a pick for O'Neill, and we get a whistle on a hand pass, and then Mersch shoving with Biega, Wheel getting involved. As players starting to grasp towards one another. O'Neill around the periphery with Hunter Shinkarik. And as those two part ways, everybody has calmed down. Faceoff will stay inside the zone again. The whistle was on a hand pass. But Michael Mersch, after deflecting that puck with his glove, charged right into Alex Biega and threw a full-blown body check with even out the puck anywhere near them. We welcome those tuned in here tonight on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Those also in Vancouver on TSN 1410. Of course, our local listeners here in the Mohawk Valley on 94.9 K-Rock. And all of those who are watching tonight on AHL Live, the web streaming service for the American Hockey League. Is free during the Calder Cup Finals with the promo code Calder Cup. Cal O'Reilly will take the face-off against Nick Shore. Again, this face-off outside the Utica zone. And as it's pushed forward by Jensen, it's back and handled by Derek Forbort from Manchester. Up and into the zone, it's knocked around. Here it comes to O'Brien. He slips one on goal, saved by Markstrom. Played back behind the net by Clendenning. Then up at the line, Forbort down on any centers. Shore snaps one on goal, and a toe save made by Markstrom. Manchester coming again. They throw one wide of the goal. Out to Forbort at the line. Down the wing, played to Shore, right in front. Kempe a drive, saved by Markstrom. Cleared down the ice. Grenier trying to win a race to the puck, so there is no icing. He can't do it. And a face-off will be back inside the Utica zone. Well, this is the start the Manchester Monarchs were looking for and have been accustomed to. Got caught on their heels in Game 3, allowing the Comets to jump out to a 2-0 lead. But this Manchester Monarchs team is used to scoring first. They are 13-0 when doing so in the playoffs, 0-4 when allowing the game's first goal. But they've scored 8 times in the first 3 minutes so far in the playoffs. 5 of those goals were in the opening minute. That won't happen here tonight, as it's played down for O'Neill, shoved against the glass by Clendenning, thrown over the glass this time. And then as Clendenning gave a shove to O'Neill, of course, Mersch and Wheel get involved as well. The AHL MVP, Brian O'Neill, undrafted out of Yale, playing in his 3rd pro season, a breakout year, won the John B. Sullenberger Trophy by leading the AHL in points with 80. but was taken out of the game by a hard hit from Alex Friesen in the first period on Wednesday night. Did not return, did not practice yesterday, and did not skate this morning. But he is on the ice for his second shift of the game. Already here, 1 minute and 31 seconds gone by in the first. They get a fresh, frozen puck out of the penalty box here at the off, and they'll drop it between Will Acton and Jordan Wheel. This top line for Manchester has accounted for most of their scoring during the postseason as they get it to Miller with a blast that hit the glass around Markstrom. Miller's got a rocket. Played behind the goal. Viega knocked it free. Wheel gets there ahead of Corrado, turns it to the front, and then a shot to the front blocked away. And it comes now to the boards for Corrado. Off the glass, it's knocked down by Kevin Gravel, but another hand pass will halt play. Shots on goal are 4-0 Manchester, and a couple of quality looks there. Jordan Wheel is complaining to the officials that he was pulled down by his jersey, but he will get no sympathies here tonight. Paul Bissonnette on the ice right now for Manchester, giving a couple shoves to Corey Conacher before the puck even drops. And referee TJ Luxmore comes over to scold both of them as the face-off will be right in front of the Utica Comets bench. Friesen will take it against Crescenzi. This is the physical force for Manchester. As the puck dumped in by the Monarchs, quickly played. Huskins on for Berchi. Berchi ahead for Friesen. Right side for Conacher into the zone. Conacher rips a shot, the first test for Bartosak, and he sprayed it to the boards. Huskins with a drive. Hit his own man in front, and it ricochets out of the zone. Bissonnette turned it over at center. Here's Friesen back in for Berchi. Friesen heads to the goal. Berchi to the front. It's on goal and sticked aside by Bartosak. Near side boards. Bissonnette takes a hard hit from Conacher. Glendening holds straight away. Snaps one. Save made, and the rebound pushed away from Berchi. Far boards, Laverty will just clear it down. No icing here against Manchester, but there's the first good shift of the hockey game for Utica, but they give the puck up, and it's Auger off from a tough angle, and it's ripped around the outside of the goal. Another good hit delivered. Friesen takes one from Auger. Dowd out towards the line, and reaching for it was Ebert, the only lineup change tonight for Manchester aside from their goaltender. As Ebert couldn't get it, and then taking it on the play was Anderson, allowing Glendening to get the puck away from Vandergulik. And Berchi settles it down for Utica. Stretch pass across the ice for Conacher. Conacher steps across the red line, will float it in as Utica goes for a wholesale line change 3 minutes in to our first period. Game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals. It is a 2-1 series lead for Manchester. Shot in on net, Markstrom makes the save. Puck thrown towards the goal again, and this one look out into the seats and out of play. It has become a playoff tradition here at the Utica Memorial Auditorium for this crowd to dress all in white. There were no t-shirt giveaways. There were no handouts here to create a whiteout. Just a simple request from the team before the first playoff game was played way back at the end of April against the Chicago Wolves. And every game has sold out, and every night the overwhelming majority has shown up dressed in white, starting with a pregame tailgate sometimes as early as noon, and I am hearing it will start tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. out of the parking lot here at the Utica Memorial Auditorium. Puck drifting out, Gravel shot wide off into the corner, picked up by Colin Miller. Huskins shaken up on the play as he goes down to get his stick. He's back in the play, and behind the goal, O'Brien for the Manchester Monarchs. Run off by Bobby Sanguinetti. Cal O'Reilly will take the puck, but gave it away to Kempe in front. His pass eluded everyone and will bounce back out to neutral ice. Kevin Gravel to his partner Miller, and back for Gravel. Gravel to the right side and in. Right side, Shore. His shot left a rebound. Markstrom got it to Sanguinetti, who cleared it for the boards, and it's back at the line. A shot tipped wide. Gathered up by Grenier. Started ahead with Jensen out in front of him. O'Reilly out there as well. Grenier shoved off the puck, gained it back, and then from the red line, dumps it down behind Bartosak. 4 minutes gone. Shots are 7-3 for Manchester. No score in Game 4. Michael Mersch ahead. Now on for Jordan Wheel with the speed to the outside. Wheel cuts back away from Corrado. Wheel drops it off, looking for Laverty, and a penalty called here as Laverty got run into by Mike Zaleski. Both referees raised their arm for the interference call as Bartosak gets to the bench and the extra attacker on for Manchester. It'll be the first power play of the game for either team, and the Monarchs work the puck up ice on a delayed penalty. O'Brien brings it in and gets buried, and then down goes another player. It's Backman who had his helmet knocked off. And now Zaleski gets run into from behind along the corner boards. Laverty and Wasey Hamilton look like they want to go. Laverty giving the face washes to Hamilton along the boards. Those two continue to throw punches. Laverty won't let him go. Gloves are still on. Backman, and now the gloves come off, at least one. Now Hamilton will throw the other off. A wrestling match for the moment. Helmets are off. Laverty and Hamilton have squared off here along the goal line in the Comet zone. Hamilton can't really get free, but will go down on top of Vincent Laverty, the Monarchs captain. Now another altercation continuing along the corner boards. Michael Mersch getting into it with Brendan Gaunce. The linesmen break them apart. The crowd giving an ovation to Wasey Hamilton. There will be more penalties called than the original Zaleski minor. But did the Monarchs just cost themselves a power play as Mersch comes after Zaleski again? The Comets already have 2 players in the penalty box. None of them are Mike Zaleski. Hamilton and Gaunce are both in the box. Wheel is on his way for Manchester. Of course, Laverty will be in the box as well. And a lot to sort out here with 15 minutes and 22 seconds to go in the first period. Chant is something that started at the tail end of last season here at the Aud. It was an organic chant, not prompted by a video board or the audio system here in the building. It became something the Comets fans have been very proud of. They chant the name of their city, not necessarily the name of their team. It is a civic pride piece that has been on full display all week long. For the Calder Cup Finals in town as the league's smallest city is on the biggest stage the American Hockey League has to offer. Still sorting out the penalties after what started a call against Mike Zaleski and then quickly escalated into what will be 5-minute fighting majors for Wasey Hamilton and Vincent Laverty. Brendan Gaunce was in the penalty box for Utica, is now standing just a step outside of it. No other players have been brought to the box except for Mike Zaleski, who will join Hamilton in there shortly. It was supposed to be a power play for Manchester. It still may be a power play for Manchester, as Cal O'Reilly has talked things over with TJ Luxmore. Was again, the play was over, but there was a late hit after the whistle thrown by Jordan Wheel, which is why he's in the penalty box with Laverty. That prompted everything that followed, including the fight between Laverty and Hamilton. It will be a penalty kill still for Utica, as Brendan Gaunce will have to stay in the Comets penalty box. Jordan Wheel is being brought out of the box, and Michael Mersch will take his place. Either way, one of the league's leading goal scorers will be in the penalty box during this first power play.
27, Michael Mersch, roughly 2 minutes. Utica penalty to number 36, Wasey Hamilton, fighting 5 minutes. To number 10, Brendan Gaunce, roughing 2 minutes. Number 14, Mike Zaleski, hooking 2 minutes. All penalties at 4:38.
So there are the penalties. The crowd certainly doesn't agree. And a face-off that will take place just outside the Utica zone, despite the fact that it is a power play. The scrum that followed afterwards will move the face-off back out to neutral ice. Acton, Biega, Huskins, and Friesen are out there for the Comets kill, which is 10-4-12 here in the Calder Cup Finals. Utica gets the clear off the draw. Utica is missing both Brendan Gaunce and Wasey Hamilton, who both kill penalties for Utica. As the puck brought in by Shore, but he lost control of it. And Alex Biega will bounce it right back in to the Manchester zone. Then stumbling down the wall, O'Neill got a piece of it. Huskins will have to protect it along the wall. He gets knocked off the puck by Shore, but he recovers and pokes it to the boards. Acton's hit, got it on. Friesen can't clear the zone. It bounces. Huskins tied up, thrown in front. Alone, they drop it off, and they float one off the post. It stayed out, and it's covered by Markstrom. A wide open goal for Nick Shore, and as it floated off his stick, it hit the post and stayed in the crease without anyone touching it. And a very calm and collected Jacob Markstrom simply puts the left hand on the puck and draws the whistle. 14 minutes and 46 seconds to go here in the first period. And they want to take a look at this one. Referee TJ Luxmore and Garrett Rank will go to the video review system here at the Utica Memorial Auditorium. It might be impossible to have more action without any goals being scored than we have had in our first 5 minutes and 14 seconds of play. They will take another look at that shot that hit the post and stayed out of Markstrom's net. This Comets penalty kill is brought to you by Vintage Limousine in Yorkville. It will still have 1 minute and 25 seconds on it, as long as the referees do not change their mind by what they see on the video review. For those not well versed in the technologies of the American Hockey League, the video review is a one-camera system in the AHL. The referees can go look at just the overhead view of the goal. That's all they have to look at. It is a quick review. They have seen what they want to see. It is still no goal, and a face-off will take place inside the Comet zone. As we get another look here on the video board, again, it floated off the post, and it stayed out, and amazing that it didn't just deflect in off of any of the players that were inside that crease of Jacob Markstrom. Shots are 7-3 for Manchester, 14:46 remaining in the opening period. Game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals. Comets trail in the series 2-1, but ride the momentum after a Game 3 win here on home ice. Far side, then right to the middle, a shot off Markstrom, and then off the backboards. Shore drops it around for O'Neill, who lost his stick. Anderson pokes it up the wall twice, and then O'Reilly after it, can't get it away from Bodnarchuk. Bodnarchuk looks at his options. Miller walks into a one-timer. Markstrom the save. O'Reilly clears it ahead for DeFazio, and he'll chip this one in the air, but it's knocked down by the glove hand of Bodnarchuk. Right side wheel. Wheel down the wing from Shore as Shore spins it around the boards. Gravel is there, wrapped up by DeFazio. Puck poked out of the zone by O'Reilly with 50 seconds left on the penalty kill. It'll be Mike Zaleski out of the box. Hamilton serving a 5-minute fighting major, and Brendan Gaunt's penalty is coincidental with Michael Mersch. They will have to wait for a whistle after the penalties expire. Huskins leaves it for Biega. Tried to sneak it on for Acton, stolen away. Quick center, backfill on goal. What a save from Markstrom as he came out to challenge. Far side forward keeps the pressure on for Manchester. Sprung to the near side, Gravel hammered into the wall by Biega. Huskins comes over. Puck thrown back across the ice, as Manchester likes to do, to try and get some open space, but they can't converge on it quickly enough. Huskins has his man tied up. Quick center. Backman drops. Forward shoots, and a glove save by Markstrom. He has been spectacular and has made 10 saves in the first 6.5 minutes tonight. 9 seconds remaining on the Zaleski penalty, and then the Comets will be back at full strength. Jacob Markstrom in 32 games during the regular season won 22 times. He had a 1.88 goals against average and a .934 save percentage. Just to prove it was not a fluke, he has put up almost identical numbers here in the playoffs against the league's best. A 1.92 goals against average, a .932 save percentage as Utica clears it down, and that'll do it for the Comets' first penalty kill. They went 3 for 3 on Wednesday night. They are 1 for 1 here tonight. Puck carried up ice, though, by Nick Shore. Shore tried to lend it across, and it's Justin Auger after it. Knocked down Peter Anderson. Auger behind the net looking for a wrap, can't do it. Fended off by Anderson. Stolen away, Zaleski grabs it. Pushes it on for Sanguinetti, and Sanguinetti will throw it down the ice, but this one caught an edge and continues to roll, and the Comets are guilty of icing here. Swifties is the official restaurant and pub of the Comets live broadcast on K-Rock, and Labatt is the official beer of the Utica Comets broadcast on K-Rock as well. Out of the box come Brendan Gaunt and Michael Mersch as we welcome those in, tuning in all over the United States and Canada, and perhaps all over the world, whether it be on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, TSN 1410, 94.9 KROC, or on broadcast coverage on AHL Live. I'm Brendan Burke. This is Game 4 of the AHL's Calder Cup Finals between the Utica Comets and Manchester Monarchs. Monarchs won games 1 and 2 in overtime in Manchester. The Comets with a 3-2 win here on Wednesday night in Game 3. It is the first time in 10 years and just the 8th time in AHL history the first 3 games of the Calder Cup Final have been decided by a single goal. Here's Berchi rushing it down the ice, throwing it off the boards, and it bounced into the crease. And Bartoszak had to play it back behind. He has only made 3 saves in the hockey game. That is approaching 7.5 minutes old, and a high stick infraction, not a penalty, just a whistle called against Manchester. 12:38 remaining here in period 1. No score. This is the Calder Cup Finals on NHL Network Radio, TSN 1410 and 94.9 KROC.
Feel the joy when you upgrade today at your local Carbone Auto Group dealership in Utica, Yorkville, and Rome. Get the best deals of the year when you upgrade to a new, safer, more reliable vehicle for less than you're paying now. Browse our large selection of 20 different manufacturers. You always get what you want at Carbone, like low monthly payments on new, pre-owned, and certified pre-owned vehicles, and up to 110% of Kelly Blue Book trade-in value. Plus, enjoy APR financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months or no payments for 90 days on select models. View all of our great specials online at CarboneCars.com or visit our convenient locations. Carbone, delivering joy since 1929.
Trade-in value based on Kelly Blue Book Fair trade-in value plus reconditioning costs. Special APR and payment deferral offers for qualified customers. Not all customers will qualify. See dealer for details. Offers expire June 30th, 2015.
Looks all the way over.
This is the Utica Comets 2015 Calder Cup Playoffs on 94.9 KROC.
12.5 minutes remaining in our first period. Game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals. Monarchs have had the majority of the pressure here tonight, out shooting Utica 10-3. But it is still a scoreless tie thanks to some stellar play from goaltender Jacob Markstrom as Cal O'Reilly looks for an exit out of the zone. Knocked down, Nicholas Jensen will hand it back to Corrado, and the Comets will try the near side of the ice. Yeaga fumbles it for a moment, able to push it on to Grenier. Grenier takes his time, banks it off the wall to the Comets captain Cal O'Reilly, who got the scoring started for Utica in game number 3, scoring his first of the playoffs after leading the American Hockey League in assists, in which he still does, but didn't have a goal to his name until Wednesday night. He'll deflect this one in. Patrick Bartoszak will leave it behind for Colin Miller. Miller, with great speed and a hard shot, brings it to the red line and didn't quite get it. And so icing is called against the Manchester Monarchs as Crescenzi, Bissonnette, and Vandergoolik give a couple of shoves to some players. Bissonnette gives a chat to Adam Clendening. Face-off coming back inside the Manchester Monarchs zone, close to Patrick Bartoszak, who all of a sudden has become a story in the Calder Cup playoffs. Really, not necessarily because of his play. It's because that he is playing. The starting goalie for Manchester, Jean-Francois Berube, was injured in game 3 just under 8 minutes into the hockey game. He did not return to that game, and he has not dressed for this one. And so Patrick Bartoszak, the 22-year-old out of the Czech Republic, is making his first career professional postseason start. And it comes in game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals. Puck skated up ice by Paul Bissonnette, and he'll dump it around Ken Huskins and try and get back to it. Bissonnette shoulders Huskins off the puck, tries to escape from the corner, will cycle it for big Crescenzi. Crescenzi tripped up by Alex Friesen. Crescenzi one-hands the puck out to the line, and a shot that sailed wide from Derek Forbort. Kept in by Gravel. He's stapled by Berchi. Friesen can't clear the puck, and it's worked across the ice by Huskins to Sanguinetti. And now on for Friesen. Comets in on the left side. Berchi looking for a trailing Sanguinetti. Couldn't get it to him. Second effort, he'll spin it into the corner. Sanguinetti trying to follow it up there. Stalled the puck enough for Friesen to get involved. And now Conacher down the wing can't come up with it. Sanguinetti steals a loose one. Pushed it towards the net, but the skates of Forbort there to stop it. And back up ice come the Monarchs. Way off sides was Manchester's Sean Backman. And the whistle with 11:01 remaining in period number 1. Bartoszak hasn't started a game since April 19th. That was the final day of the regular season. He allowed 5 goals that day on 23 shots against the Providence Bruins. But he did play the majority of the game on Wednesday night and actually was the goalie of record, allowing 2 goals on 29 shots in not just under 51 minutes of work. A game the Monarchs lost 3-2, but not because of his play. They are confident in him. They have reiterated that over the past couple of days, both the coaching staff and the players themselves. And the stats would justify that. Bartoszek with a better goals against average and better save percentage, albeit in less playing time than their starter Jean-Francois Berube. Puck played ahead for DeFazio, and it's just out of his reach. Could have been a 2-on-1 with Will Acton as Hunter Shinkaruk sent it towards him. Acton and DeFazio digging. Corrado holds it in at the point. Spun back behind the net. It rolls to Acton. Acton goes to center. Shinkaruk had it poked off his stick just at the last moment. Comets keep the puck in the zone as sticks fly. DeFazio trying to pick it back up. Acton gets the puck down the wing. Acton to the front. Shoved on net by Shinkaruk, and a save made. Knocked down was Shinkaruk as he tried to get around the back of the net. Monarchs trying to clear the zone. Bodnarchuk lost it, and now they'll steer it out to center. Approaching the halfway point of the first period. O'Reilly fails to glove down a puck. It's wide of the net, but settled down by Patrick Bartoszek. Puck kicked up ice. O'Neill let it go. Clendening got a piece, so there's no icing against Manchester. And the Comets defenseman Clendening smacks it around the boards. Great hands by Grenier, lifted off the glove of Derek Forbort, and it'll be a hand pass. But it won't be. They let it play it. Jordan Wheel just let the Comets take the puck. And now it's Clendening chipping it towards Jensen, but it gets a little too far out in front of him. And the Monarchs take back over. A sandwich there between Biega and Friesen. Caught Jordan Wheel. Knocked the puck off his stick, but Wheel gets it back. Mersch back to Wheel. O'Neill towards the goal. Wheel cuts back with a shot. Markstrom got it off the stick and out of play. And Wheel, of course, came to the net hard. Or O'Neill, excuse me, knocked Markstrom down, knocked the net off its pegs. And that drew the attention of Frank Corrado. Faceoff will come outside the zone when we come back. 9 minutes, 27 seconds to go. First period, no score. This is Comets hockey on 94.9 K-Rock.
I want to get my girl some diamond earrings, but I don't know the first thing about diamonds.
I was pretty clueless too, but I got Sue's engagement ring at Engelbert's Jewelers. Call the Diamond Authority. They'll help you every step of the way.
At Engelbert's Jewelers, we can answer every question you have and help you with this most special gift from your heart. In business over 100 years, we travel the globe to offer you the best diamonds available. When you think diamonds, think Engelbert's. West Dominic Street in Rome and in the New Hartford Shopping Center, 337-3100 and 797-5700.
Tom Cavallo's Restaurant is your summer destination for dining and good times. Stop by Cavallo's Restaurant Tuesdays for the best chicken wings in town. Just $11.99 for 20 wings. Or if clams are more your style, Cavallo's has them by the dozen for just $2.99 on Wednesdays. And Comets fans, head to Cavallo's to watch the Calder Cup Finals live from the main bar and enjoy 2 for $5 specials on all domestic drafts and bottles during the games. Revisit an area landmark. Cavallo's Restaurant, located at 40 Genesee Street in the heart of New Hartford.
Looks all the way over.
This is the Utica Comets 2015 Calder Cup Playoffs on 94.9 K-Rock.
No doubt on the marker board in every locker room of every team that has faced the Utica Comets this season, it says something about getting traffic in front of Jacob Markstrom and making his job difficult, because if he sees it, he's going to stop it. Manchester has taken a couple of good shots towards Markstrom, some necessary or at least inadvertent, and some avoidable. The most recent was the avoidable kind, but not the most egregious. As Brian O'Neill made contact with the Comets netminder, knocked the net off its pegs, cost his team a chance for an offensive zone faceoff. Markstrom, his 6'6", 200-pound frame, no worse for wear. 9:27 remaining in the first period of Game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals. Utica trying to even the series here at home. Game 5 is scheduled here at the Aud for tomorrow night. Faceoff pushed back out to the center circle. Manchester controlling, and it is Colin Miller backing off and playing to Gravel. On for Michael Mersch and back to Colin Miller. An AHL All-Star hammers one in on goal from the red line, forcing Markstrom to make his 12th save. And as Corrado peels back behind the net, got away from O'Neill, and then Mersch, and then stolen away and pushed to the front. Nobody home for Manchester. Puck given up, Gravel's shot goes wide, skipped around the boards, and Miller is there. Meanwhile, Mersch and Corrado still battling behind the net. The puck was long gone as O'Neill takes a hit along the wall, and the Comets play it to the boards. Near side, Wheel tries to spin from Biega. Wheel steps, works around Biega, cuts to the front. Jordan Wheel keeps control, shot it, deflected wide. Mersch will pick it up there. Stolen away by Gauntz down low, smacked off the boards, kept in by Gravel. Shot ricochets just wide of the net. Corrado back there to get it. He and Michael Mersch continue to lock up with one another. Monarchs are tired as well. Crescenzi delivers it on Hamilton. Biega up ice for Gauntz. Gauntz down the wall, he'll throw it in. Comets get a fresh lineup out there. Conacher chasing to it. He's working on Laverty. Conacher lost his stick as the puck came on now for Gravel. Gravel's pass to Bissonnette, chipped around Sanguinetti. The two junior teammates in Owen Sound race after it. Then Anderson knocks the puck away from Bissonnette. Crowd reacting to Conacher and Laverty behind the play. They have since parted ways as the puck picked up by Auger. Thrown out to the line and across it as Laverty has to come back to get it into his own zone. Conacher chasing to him. This one thrown off the boards, out at center ice, played by Sanguinetti. Laverty got another piece of Conacher and knocked him to the ice. Play carries on. Baertschi cuts back and steps on the blue line. Got handcuffed but steered it deep to Alex Friesen. Stapled by Bissonnette. Friesen keeps the legs moving. Cycled behind for Conacher. Conacher hurries it out to the point. Clendening. Clendening snaps one. Save made by Bartasek. Left a big rebound, but Friesen couldn't get his stick free. 7.5 minutes remaining here in the first, no score. Monarchs have the majority of the shots and scoring chances. 12-4 are the shots on goal here in the opening period. It is Clendening along the near boards. Pushed up ice. O'Reilly turned it over. Backman in alone. Delay, shoots and scores. Sean Backman has given the Monarchs a 1-0 lead after a bad giveaway by Cal O'Reilly. And the Monarchs break through at 7:15 of the first period. It is a goal that you could feel coming as the Comets have been running around for much of this period. And a giveaway to a dangerous player in Sean Backman, who scores his 5th of the playoffs as he got in all alone and with all sorts of time and used every second to delay and wait out Jacob Markstrom, who was face down on the ice when Backman lifted it home. Sean Backman scored 19 goals during the regular season, and he has number 5 here in the postseason. Bested his career high in goals by 8 during the regular season. And a guy who has been in the AHL now for 5 seasons, his 3rd now with Manchester. Comets down 1-0. It is an unassisted goal as he took the puck off the stick of Cal O'Reilly. Puck dumped down by Manchester, but icing is waved away here and play will carry on. Anderson around for Corrado. Given on for Alex Grenier. Grenier sidesteps a man, but saw another one coming. Vanderguluk took the puck away, and here is Dowd in, shoots and scores! Nick Dowd has made it 2-0 Manchester. This goal coming at 6:43 of the first period. And again, the Comets got sloppy. Grenier turned it over. In alone came down, and the overtime hero from game 2 has struck again. His 6th of the postseason and 2nd of the series. Glove side on Jacob Markstrom. And a brilliantly placed shot. And Travis Green is going to call his timeout. 2 unassisted goals coming off 2 defensive zone turnovers in less than a minute. And Travis Green, knowing the importance of this game, a loss means they're down 3-1, wants to wake up his hockey team right about now. They're being outshot 14-4 and now trail 2-0. It is the first time in this series the Comets have trailed by more than 1 goal. Even in a game in which they were outplayed drastically and outshot by 20 in game 1, they never trailed by more than a single goal. And they never trailed for very long at all. But now their work is cut out for them. Manchester has taken a 2-0 lead. And off the face-off, the Monarchs win it back, and Bodnarchuk handles here for the Monarchs. Up ice, it is short. Give it on now for O'Brien. O'Brien drifting to the circle with a shot, and Markstrom makes a blocker save. Brandon DeFazio to the left side for Huskins is off his skates, and down the ice it goes. It'll be an icing call against the Utica Comets. For as good as the Comets were in the first period on Wednesday night in Game 3, The exact opposite could be said about the first period here in Game 4. Manchester is in the middle of their most dominating period of the Calder Cup Finals. Nick Shore will handle the faceoff against Will Acton. Faceoff one back to Colin Miller. Snaps a shot, and Markstrom lunged with the right leg to make another fine save. It was 32 seconds between goals scored by Manchester off egregious errors by the Utica Comets. Will Acton knocks his man down, Colin Miller, who gets back to his feet but had lost the puck. Hunter Shinkarik digging after it here with help from Acton. He'll get it back. Miller shoves him off against the wall behind the net. Shinkarik spins away from Colin Miller. And Shinkarik, the Canucks' first-round pick from a couple of years ago, fed it on to DeFazio to the line. Corrado scores! Frank Corrado, just like that, puts the Comets right back in it. A seeing Irish shot from the blue line. Will Acton with the net front presence. And with just 5 shots on goal and 5:51 to play in the first period, the Manchester lead is 2-1. Great work by Acton and Shinkarik down low. And then as they sent it right out, a very quick release by Frank Corrado. And a great screen by Will Acton, combined to give the Comets a little life and a shot in the arm here before it got out of hand. First point of the playoffs for Frankie Corrado. Give assists to Hunter Shinkarik and Will Acton.
First in the playoff, scored by number 26, Frank Corrado. Assist to number 24, Brandon DeFazio. And number 9, Hunter Shinkarik. Goal scored at 14:09.
My apologies, Will Acton won't get an assist, although he was instrumental in that play. Here's Wacey Hamilton down the wing. Brandon DeFazio checks on the scoreboard. Gaunts to the front. Clendenning drags. Shoots again. It's deflected wide. Far side boards its wheel. The crowd back into it here at the Alm. 12th consecutive postseason sellout. 38-35 the attendance here in our small setting. Left side boards Michael Mersch. Down the wing to the front, and it's chopped off the goalpost by Markstrom and lifted out to center ice. Just the second assist of the postseason for Hunter Shinkarik. And for Brandon DeFazio, it is his 5th. Less than 5 minutes remaining. Puck stolen away by Berchi. Berchi down the wing for Sanguinetti. And now fed up ice. Bissonnette can't handle. Ken Huskins can for Utica. Off the boards. Got it to Friesen. Friesen in for Conacher. Spun in front. Dropped for Sanguinetti. Right on. And a save from Bartasek. And then Conacher pushed into the crossbar by 6'7" Justin Auger. And that'll draw some more punches and shoves from everyone. Crescenzi in the face of Friesen. Now Paul Bissonnette comes over and grabs Friesen by the collar. Of course, Bissonnette coming after Friesen, most likely because of Friesen's hit on the MVP, Brian O'Neill, from Game 1. Things have calmed down, at least on the ice. Comets back alive. Manchester leads by 1. 4:37 left in the first. You're listening to the AHL's Calder Cup Finals on TSN 1410 and 94.9 K-Rock.
In a world where not taking your prescriptions as directed takes the lives of 125,000 Americans a year, a new superhero comes along to fight for good. Good health, that is. Who is this health crusader? It's your prescription medication. But if you're not taking your prescriptions as directed, you're taking a chance. Visit excelusbcbs.com/take as directed to learn more. Excellus Bank Blue Shield is a non-profit independent licensee of the Blue Cross Blue Shield Association.
When Central New York businesses are looking for complete documentation services, they turn to the professionals at Avalon Document Services. Avalon is your one-stop source for document scanning and imaging, business printing and copying, marketing materials and stationery printing, design, building, large format printing, plus they can handle your indoor and outdoor signage needs. Avalon, the business document experts, offer free same-day rush service and free pickup and delivery. Visit teamavalon.com or stop by 54 Franklin Square in Utica to see what Avalon Document Services can do for you.
This is the Utica Comets 2015 Calder Cup Playoffs.
goals in 94 seconds. The first two for Manchester, the most recent from Utica. And that's the score with 4:37 remaining in the opening period. Shots on goal 15-6 for Manchester as the Comets look to tie the game the same way they're looking to tie the series. It would be at 2. Anderson from the point with a shot, and it sailed wide. Near side boards. In comes Sanguinetti. He goes down along with Vandergulik. Puck played to Grenier, who spun off the puck and then poked free. It came to O'Reilly for a moment and then out for Vandergulik. Things getting awfully rough here at the Aud. This will be icing against Manchester. No, it's beaten out by Bodnarchuk, the D-man, who rushed in. O'Reilly with a bump, then sticks the puck away from Dowd. Worked on to Jensen. Jensen will just punch this one back out to neutral ice. Quickly skated ahead by Miller. Working on Biega, but he lost an edge and went down. Biega takes the puck and will make sure he gets it behind the net to avoid any further issues. Comets have already used their timeout after falling down 2-0. We'll see if that comes into play later on in the game. But they had to do something to turn the tide, and the goal from Corrado may have just done it. Here is Will Acton leading it ahead for Shinkarik, but it bounced too far off his stick out in front of him, and it'll serve as a dump in. It comes back to Acton, handed off for Shinkarik behind the goal. Shinkarik powering his way to the front, and then it's chopped away by Gravel and skated out through center by Backman. On for Shore. Shore cuts back, wristing a shot that's deflected wide. Auger positioned in front of the net. Hard to move as Backman will put it behind the goal for Acton and Auger to engage there. Auger in his skates. Huskins comes over, tries to take it away. Cannot. Wheel gets there. Acton as well. Springs free, and it's Shinkarik chipping it down the wall. Now it comes back up the boards and then out at the line. It's smacked on net and an easy stick save made by the Comets netminder. 2 minutes, 55 seconds to go in the first period. And the puck taken by Huskins, floated ahead to Hamilton. Hamilton's pass went behind Shinkarik and stopped out at center ice by Ebert. Right back in comes Ebert for Mersch. Hamilton shadows him. Mersch trying to get out of the corner. It's Mersch on the cycle for Wheel now. Still pinned along the perimeter. Wheel to the front. It got through, and then a whack on goal, and a penalty coming here. It's against Manchester unless the Comets cost themselves a power play, as Zaleski goes after Jordan Wheel, who tried to join that, and then Forbort comes in and grabs Zaleski from behind, so Gauntz will join that party as O'Neill's being brought to the penalty box for his shot on Markstrom. It's the second time he's made contact with the Utica goaltender. Referees and linesmen alike trying to restrain everyone. Penalties on top of the initial one on O'Neill will be handed out here with 2:30 to go. Jordan Wheel tried to get involved. Mike Zaleski wouldn't have it, so he grabbed a hold of Wheel. That drew in Forbort, who grabbed Zaleski from behind, and so Forbort and Zaleski will go. Most likely those two will wash away, and the Comets will get their first power play of the game with 2.5 minutes to go in the first period and a chance to tie it up. Again, that's what I am seeing. We'll see if the referees have seen the same thing. Face-off, their signaling will be inside the Manchester zone, which means it should be a power play for Utica. And look, to make things interesting, from what I just read from the fingers of the referee, we're going to play this one 4-on-3. Unless he just changed that up. They have put no times up on the board. The Comets do have 5 players out on the ice right now. It looked like the initial signal was 4-on-3. But we will in fact play 5-on-4. When we get around to it, they still have to clean up the loose helmet on the ice. Jordan Wheel is confused whether he's supposed to be in the box or not. The net where Markstrom is located is still off its peg. The referee has come over to verify the penalties with the scorer's table and see which penalties are supposed to go up on the board, if any. It will be a Comets power play when we do resume play. And a glorious opportunity here for Utica to retie the game. 2 minutes on the board are Brian O'Neill's. And now the Comets who are 1 for 8 on the power play in the finals, get an opportunity here. Sanguinetti keeps it in for O'Reilly. Drop back to Sanguinetti. Works it across for Berchi. Winding. Touched in front by Conacher, but wide. Dowd will get there. Couldn't clear it. Berchi closing in. Drops it off. Conacher blast, and it's blocked in front. Shore's clear. Kept it again by Conacher. They still can't get it out. Now they do. Coming out of the zone. And now O'Reilly gets it back from Markstrom, and the Comets reset themselves here. 90 seconds to go on the Utica power play. Sanguinetti over for Berchi. Berchi down the wall for Conacher. Ripped across the ice. Grenier trying to get there. Bodnarchuk smack off the board. Stopped by Sanguinetti. Drops it off. Conacher with a shot that's ricocheted out of the play. And then Conacher gets in a wrestling match after the whistle as Vandergool grabbed him, and Conacher with the takedown and a couple of punches. This is the intensity we have seen all playoff long, all series long, but not necessarily coming to a head the way we have seen it in the first period tonight. And if that doesn't tell you this is playoff hockey, there were no penalties called on that last play, which was a glorified wrestling match in the high slot of the Manchester Monarch zone, complete with a takedown for Corey Conacher. The jawing continues, and then Nick Dowd puts a shoulder into Conacher in the middle of a line change. And it will stay 5-on-4 here with 1 minute and 16 seconds to go on the Comets power play, and a 30-second differential between the game clock and the power play clock for Utica. It will be Alex Friesen to take the face-off. Shinkarik and Gauntz, Clendenning and Berchi to operate with him. Friesen against Crescenzi. And everybody jumped, and they're going to toss Friesen out of the face-off circle, so Brendan Gauntz will stand in instead. Play resumes. Puck taken by the Monarchs, but Clendenning a chance to hold the line, and he does. Feeds it across for Berchi. Slips it into the circle for Friesen. Friesen down low, and Bartaszak ripped it off the ice and hangs on. And then, of course, a whistle means pushing and shoving as Friesen got grabbed from behind by Nick Dowd, and Hunter Shinkarik now being held at his arm length by Crescenzi. And still, they have now finally let go. 1:07 to go on the Comets power play, and after a quick breath for O'Reilly, Grenier, Sanguinetti, and Conacher, they will rejoin Berchi, who has been on the ice for the first 53 seconds of the power play, and they have no intention of taking him off now. The crowd here at the Aud not necessarily appreciating the officials here tonight. Normally they don't. Normally most crowds do not appreciate any officials, as Corey Conacher wants to come back on the ice, but his chin strap is broken, and so without being able to secure his helmet properly, he will have to leave the playing surface or get a different helmet. He will take Brandon DeFazio's helmet and worry about that later. DeFazio's a little too big. As if you recall, Corey Conacher being mistakenly given John Scott's helmet in a penalty box in Buffalo a few years ago. Not necessarily to that degree, but rattle around a little too much. He'll grab a smaller helmet, but he will stay on the ice for Utica. O'Reilly will take the draw. And as it bounces free, Laverty drops it behind the net. Nick Dowd has a little time, and he'll smack this one the length of the ice. 90 seconds to go in the period, 1 minute to go on the Comets power play, with the AHL MVP Brian O'Neill in the box after running into Jacob Markstrom. Puck taken ahead by O'Reilly, dropped off, and it's Berchi cruising up ice into the zone with speed, giving to Grenier. Back for Berchi. Berchi circles, slides it. Sanguinetti straight away. Left circle, Conacher back across. Berchi scores! Sven Berchi has tied the game with 1:06 to go in the first period. A power play goal. The Comets gave up 2 goals in 32 seconds. They were being outshot drastically. And with just over a minute to play and an opening period, the Comets have pushed the reset button. Great puck movement and a heavy blast from Sven Berchi. His 8th of the playoffs. And Bordesack got a glove on it, but it rolled right behind him and in.
Oh, the power play goal! His 8th of the playoffs! Scored by number 47, Sven Berchi! Assistant number 89, Corey Utica, and number 6, Bobby Sanguinetti. Goal scored at 18:54.
And now with 1 minute remaining in the first period, this one is dumped in by Manchester. This first period has been like this series. Manchester dominating the opening part, but the Comets have come back. Here's Grenier on for Gauntz, drop for Biega, overskated, back the other way comes Wheel for Manchester. He can't get it into the zone. Biega, great job to stand him up at the blue line. 40 seconds to go in the period. Grenier can't grab it. This one is served on for Wasey Hamilton. Hamilton to center ice, he'll dump it in. Stopped behind the net by Patrick Bartosak. Near side boards, and it's Gravel. Run into was Wheel, given up now for Merch, and Anderson will pick his pocket with 20 seconds to go. It is Huskins dropping back for Anderson, 15 seconds left. DeFazio off the boards to Acton, he'll get it in with 12. Shinkarik in pursuit of Gravel, spun around the boards with 8. Out to center, it's skated by Down, 5 seconds down, drops in the slot. Backman caught from behind by Shinkarik, the Comets clear it out, the period is over. Despite a crowd gathering in the Comet zone, the Comets came out flat. The Monarchs were flying. They built a 2-0 lead, but this epic series has followed suit. The Comets with the response, and then another. A 2-0 game is now 2-2 after 20 minutes. And while Manchester had the early momentum, it is now squarely with the Utica Comets and the home crowd here at the Utica Memorial Auditorium. Shots on goal wind up being 16-9. They were 14-4 at one point for Manchester. The Comets got goals from Frank Corrado at 14:09 and Sven Berchi at 18:54 to erase the 2-0 Manchester Monarchs lead. What a game we've had so far, and we've only played 20 minutes. You're tuned in to Game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, TSN 1410 and 94.9 K-Rock. Well, what an entertaining and intense first period we just witnessed here at the Utica Memorial Auditorium. Game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals. The Comets trailing 2-1 in the series and down 2-0 tonight at the start. Almost at the start of this period. 2 goals in 32 seconds after 2 egregious giveaways by the Comets in their own zone. Unassisted goals are one of 2 things, either great individual plays or complete miscues by the opposition. Both goals featured both of those situations. Bad giveaways by the Comets and great finishes by Sean Backman and also Nick Dowd. The goals came, as I mentioned, 32 seconds apart, and the Comets were down 2-0. Travis Green calls his timeout at 13:17. It took his team 1 minute and 2 seconds to tie the game up. Frank Corrado, his first of the playoffs from the blue line, and then Utica on a power play after Brian O'Neill goes to the net and bumps Jacob Markstrom for the second time tonight. He was called for goaltender interference at 17:30, and at 18:54, the Utica Comets retied the game. Berchi from Conacher and Sanguinetti, and the Utica Comets, they do escape that first period in a tie score because of how poorly they played and how much they were outplayed during the early stretches of the game. But Jacob Markstrom held them in early, and then they were able to pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and tie the score after 20 minutes of play here tonight. Shots on goal wind up being a much more manageable 16-9. By the way, the shots on goal after one period in Game 3 were 17-9 in favor of the Utica Comets. So Both teams have come out with strong first periods. The Comets on Wednesday, the Monarchs here tonight. The difference is the Comets were able to wash away that lead, while the Monarchs only were able to get back within one and were never able to retie the game and lost by a score of 3-2. Not exactly the start the Comets were looking for, but certainly the finish to erase that bad first period. And now the second period becomes the point of emphasis. Really, the game starts over in the second period, and we'll see if the Comets can come out of the locker room looking like the team that went into the locker room after Game 3's 3-2 win, and not that team that came out here to start the first period of play. Some work to do in the dressing room. Neither team probably happy with that first period, and we'll see if they can turn it up to an even higher notch when the second period begins in a few moments. We'll take a break and come back, get you ready for that second period, recap the first as well. You're listening to Game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, TSN 1410 and 94.9 K-Rock. A wild first period in the books here at the Utica Memorial Auditorium. Game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals. Manchester with a 2-1 series lead and built a 2-0 lead in the first period, only to give it right back. Jacob Markstrom was outstanding in the early stages, and the final 7 minutes and 15 seconds of the first period featured all 4 goals. And it wasn't the full 7:15. You got to take out a minute 6 there at the end. So 6:09 is the stretch in which all 4 goals were scored in. As the Comets came out a little bit flat, Manchester was racing all over the ice. They were out shooting the Comets, out chancing the Comets. They were 14-4 late in the first period because Manchester off of 2 bad giveaways. The first one from Cal O'Reilly, uncharacteristically, Sean Backman walked in all alone, deked Markstrom down onto his stomach, and then lifted it into the empty net to give the Monarchs a 1-0 lead at 12:45. And then just 32 seconds later, Nick Dowd picked the pocket of Alex Grenier, walked in alone, and just snapped a great shot just inside the bar on the glove side of Jacob Markstrom, and it was 2-0, and you could feel this building deflate just a little bit. You could see the Comets players knowing, boy, this could be it for us. But the Utica Comets called timeout. Travis Green gathered his guys around him, and they may have, in fact, saved their Calder Cup chances with the performance that they put on in the final 6 minutes and 43 seconds. At 14:09, Frank Carano from the blue line wristed one home. Will Acton was parked in front, and the Utica Comets cut within 1. And then we saw a lot of penalties. 22 minutes in penalties handed out during that first period. When all was said and done, both teams had 1 power play. A hooking call against Mike Zaleski at 4:38 gave Manchester their only power play. And then Brian O'Neill for goalie interference at 17:30 after he bumped Jacob Markstrom for the second time in the period, set the Comets up on a power play. And Sven Berchi wired one home with 1:06 to go, his 8th of the playoffs from Conacher and Sanguinetti. Some perfect passing around the zone led to that Comets goal. And Utica lucky to get out of that first period, tied at 2, and we'll see what they can do when the second period begins in just a few moments. You're listening to Game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, TSN 1410 and 94.9 K-Rock.
Ready to build your party deck? It can get pretty involved, so ask our pros for help. Get all of your hardware, building tips, and the right decking for your needs. Like this month's special, Tex Decking. Work less and relax more with this durable composite. It never needs paint, stain, or sealant. It doesn't rot, and it even increases the value of your home. It's like super decking. Don't forget, we are your home improvement experts. We know decking.
Find all our specials, like Trex Decking in this month's flyer. You'll find railings, lights, and much more on sale. When you stop in, pick up a solar post cap light for just $5.99. We carry the good stuff, and all at great prices. Get your flyer online at jay-k.com or at JK in New Hartford. JK Lumber, your home improvement experts.
Have you been to the new beer store in New Hartford? What's it called? Beer Here on Seneca Turnpike in New Hartford.
Did you try a beer at a bar but you can't seem to find it anywhere? Or just looking for something new? Take a look at Beer Here across from Pizza Hut in the Crossroads Plaza next to Plato's Closet. Over 5,500 square feet of craft beers from New York and beyond. Imports, domestics, growlers, and kegs. Beer Here, Seneca Turnpike, New Hartford, next to Plato's Closet. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for upcoming tastings and events. Since 1972, Mohawk Valley Federal Credit Union has served Herkimer County and state employees and their families. Mohawk Valley Federal Credit Union is now serving Town of Marcy employees as well. With branches at 207 Genesee Street in Utica and 9212 River Road in Marcy, stop by MVFCU to see how they can save you money. And check out their swap and drop vehicle loan swap going on now for historically low loan rates insured through NCU ASIF. Mohawk Valley Federal Credit Union, taking members further.
Looks all the way over.
This is the Utica Comets 2015 Calder Cup Playoffs on 94.9 K-Rock.
Utica Comets, Manchester Monarchs tied at 2 after the first period, and the Monarchs bringing it back in offensively on Jacob Markstrom. It is taken by Dowd and flung wide of the goal. Puck picked up by Colin Miller, shoved down the boards, and there is Peter Anderson for the Comets. Berchi plays it ahead, kept in by Dowd, but grabbed by Anderson and pushed back out to center ice. Corey Conacher will dump it in behind Patrick Barnasek, who came out of his goal but couldn't play that puck. He allowed 2 goals on 9 shots. Markstrom 2 goals on 14 shots in that highly contentious first period of play. It is Berchi steering one through the slot, nobody home, and then it is Biega down into the corner, taken by Conacher, and then circled around. It is grabbed, and Miller tries to work it up ice. Miller delayed, had his pass deflected. Conacher steals it, but he couldn't keep it onside. And Utica guilty and getting the whistle. As Nick Shore and Corey Conacher continue to yell at one another. Of course, with the Comets being able to come back from down 2 in that first period and press the reset button on this hockey game, this becomes the new first period. And so you look for a team to assert themselves after they've had 18 minutes to digest that first, which neither team, I'm sure, is all too pleased with. And it's funny when you think about it, as the puck thrown out of play by Corrado off the faceoff. The Comets fell down 2-0, and they were being drastically outplayed. But if it wasn't for 2 really bad giveaways in their own zone, they may have not fallen behind at all. Markstrom was so good in the early stages of that period, but couldn't keep the shots from Backman and Dowd from going in. It's been the secondary scoring for Manchester again tonight. The line that is out there right now, O'Neill, Mersch, and Wheel, who combined for all 3 goals in the Game 1 3-2 win, have not scored since that Game 1 victory. It's been Dowd and Backman primarily, as the puck dug for along the boards. Inside the Manchester zone, it is Gauntz tied up with Laverty, and then Gauntz tries to one-hand it to the front. It got there, but it slipped behind Mike Zaleski. And Wheel takes over, pushed on for O'Neill. He's ridden off along the boards. Corrado will take the puck. Takes a hit, but made the play on for Biega. Biega to Zaleski with pressure coming. Zaleski got it on for Hamilton, and then off the skates of Biega, it is kicked back out to center ice. O'Neill brings it back in for Mersch. Mersch down the wall on the backhand from a tough angle. Put it into the pads of Markstrom. He made the save, and as the Manchester Monarchs crash to the goal, a high stick call coming here, I believe, against Utica, as Markstrom is still down on the ice with the puck under his glove. It was Jordan Wheel again who went hard to the goal and got his helmet knocked off his head. And Wasey Hamilton will be the one going to the penalty box here. 1 minute and 37 seconds into the second period. Manchester will get their second power play. Cal O'Reilly comes over to talk. A very brief conversation, but they just call Hamilton for getting his stick up high on Wheel. The refs have let almost everything go after the whistle, except for when it came to the fighting majors handed out between Hamilton and Laverty back in the first period. Will Acton will take the face-off for Utica on this penalty kill. Shots are 17-9 in favor of the Manchester Monarchs as Acton wins the face-off cleanly back. Huskins hands to Biega, has time, and he'll launch it down the ice. Skips on goal. Barnasak will play it to the side of the net for Bodnarchuk. As Bodnarchuk comes to the left wing boards, give it on now for Nick Dowd. Dowd canceled out by Biega, given to Huskins, back to Biega deep in the corner. Trying to leave it alone for Friesen, but it was instead scooped up by O'Brien. O'Brien poked it through to the front. There was Acton and then Huskins, and it's cleared down the ice again by Utica. Again, second period, long change makes those clears all the more important. If you get pinned in your zone, it's very tough to get fresh legs on the ice. 80 seconds to go on the power play as Mersch barrels his way into the zone. Sent all the way across the ice. Poked away from O'Neill. Grabbed by O'Reilly and forced out to center ice. Miller after it. DeFazio chases to him. Miller behind the net. DeFazio stays with him, forces him to curl off along the end wall. Miller bounces one off the boards where it's picked up by O'Neill. In across the line. Dragging on the backhand. Turned over as Corrado took it from him. DeFazio will take his time and then send it to length. 53 seconds left on the Wacey Hamilton high sticking minor. Up ahead here is Jordan Wheel. Wheel will dump from long range. Biega after it with Backman. And then on for Shore. Biega finished the check on Backman as the puck comes out to the line for Miller. Miller pumps, doesn't shoot. Wheel does the same. Back to Miller, right circle, closing in. Wrist shot, scores! A power play goal for Colin Miller as he ripped it over the glove of Jacob Markstrom, and Manchester regains the lead at 3-2, 3 minutes and 7 seconds into the second period. Boy, if you didn't know what kind of shot Colin Miller possesses, there you have it, his second of the postseason. For the 22-year-old who won the AHL skills competition hardest shot contest as well as the fastest skater contest here at the Aud in January. It's not too often you see Jacob Markstrom beat with a straight shot glove side, and Colin Miller comes up with a big goal for Manchester. Just 2 shots on that power play for the Monarchs. But 1 goes in. Both teams have a power play goal, and the Monarchs lead is 3-2. Sent up the boards. Sven Berchi after it. He'll take it away, and it's Jensen. Turned it over. Auger with it now. Bang down the wall, Vandergoolen. Handles here, spins on Sanguinetti. Vandergoolen trying to power his way to the front. Sanguinetti shouldered him back behind. Vandergoolen stopping, starting, backhand, turns, trying to throw it on the forehand to the front. Instead, it's back of the cage. Crescenzi and O'Reilly. O'Reilly spins away with it. Forced on for Jensen, and Jensen can't get out of the zone. He'll have to backtrack and play it around the ice for Sanguinetti. Sanguinetti through center for O'Reilly, touch to Grenier, drop pass O'Reilly, and then ripped around the boards. Bartosak will watch it behind the net. This one off the glass from Bodnerchuk, back out through neutral ice. Shore touched on for Kempe, didn't know that pass was coming, and it walks away from him. Off the glass, glove down by O'Brien. Friesen able to pick his pocket and fling it in the direction of Berchi. Went behind him. Huskins will pick it up and send it in. Touch was made by Berchi, so there is no icing here. Bodnerchuk one-hands it behind the net. Loose puck near side, taken by Shore. He get hammered by Friesen. Shore with the puck, kicks on for O'Brien, and then it's Laverty across the ice. And Clendenning will take it from him. Corey Conacher for Utica. Feathered on for Berchi. Chopped ahead for Friesen. Friesen to the outside. One hands it around Shore, trying to catch back up to it. Bodnerchuk is able to secure it for the Manchester Monarchs. 15:20 to go, second period. Manchester with a 3-2 lead. Game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals. Monarchs lead the series 2-1. It is Acton spraying it out to center ice. Bodnerchuk waiting, will hammer it right back in. Around the wall, Sean Backman kicks it towards the Utica slot. There is Acton off the glass and down. Stopped by the glove hand of Ebert. And then over on the wall, it is Derek Forbort. Rushing up ice, Forbort to the outside, drop pass for Down. Down floats to the front, and Backman had it deflect wide off the skates of Frank Corrado. From the blue line, Ebert shot well wide. Kept in, Forbort to the front of the goal. There's Biega to protect it. Skated to the board, sent it off the glass, and out to center ice as the Monarchs have turned the pressure up again here to start period number 2. The power play goal has given them the lead, but they have not relinquished momentum after that as this blast is deflected out of play with 14.5 minutes remaining in our second period. Mohawk Honda, the official Honda dealer of the Comets broadcast on K-Rock. Browse their exclusive inventory online at MohawkHonda.com. I'm Brendan Burke live from the Utica Memorial Auditorium. Game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals. Manchester leading 2-1. 3-2. Monarchs lead, 14.5 minutes to go in the second period. We welcome all those tuned in on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, TSN 1410, our friends here in the Mohawk Valley on 94.9 K-Rock, and of course those watching the game on AHL Live. Express Employment is the official staffing firm of the Utica Comets Calder Cup broadcast here on K-Rock. Jordan Wheel An all-star for the Manchester Monarchs. Takes the face-off, but lost it to Wasey Hamilton. Bobby Sanguinetti handles, slides it over for Hamilton. Kick to his stick, and then it's Brendan Gauntz trying to chip it in. It winds up in the Comets bench instead. And we get another break in the action. This Monarchs line that logs a lot of ice time is so important to their offense, but has been held off the board in the last 3 games, although they were on the ice as part of that power play unit. On Colin Miller's last goal. But coming into the playoffs, coming into the finals, they had scored over 55% of their total goals in the playoffs as the puck dumped in by Sanguinetti, but jumped off the half wall and into the mesh over the glass. And so the whistle has been blown, and a conversation with the guys in stripes to determine where this face-off should be located. And after 3 officials were not sold, the 4th one will come in and make the determination. The face-off will stay inside the Manchester Monarchs end. Late change here by Manchester, just bringing O'Neill off and Shore on. And that is just for the defensive zone draw. He's a better face-off man than the AHL MVP. Nick Shore played more games in the National Hockey League this season than any other player on the Manchester Monarchs, who only had 3 play at least 1 game in the NHL this year. And only 2 are currently in their lineup with the injury to defenseman Jeff Schultz from game 1. Brendan Gauntz to the front, and a stick save made by Bartosak. First time he's really been tested here in this frame. Puck muscled out to center by Shore. And as Shore flips it by Sanguinetti, he'll go off the ice, and then a second thought, he'll stay on as O'Neill waits, and they get Shore out there to play with Mersch and Wheel for the rest of this shift as the puck came close to the front of the goal, and so Markstrom pushed it back behind. Sanguinetti ties up there. Hamilton will take the puck. It has a little bit of room to skate. Wasey Hamilton to the right side. He'll close in. Hamilton to the outside. A backhand shot went wide. Off the boards, Huskins. Right back down behind the net. Zaleski waiting for it there. Has plenty of space. Zaleski steps in front, slides. Huskins had it roll off his stick. And a penalty upcoming here against Utica. And a 2-on-1 developing as Zaleski knocks down Wheel. The puck under there somewhere. And now as it's jammed back out to center ice, we do have a tripping call made against the Comets. Ken Huskins had the puck roll off his stick, and as he reached forward, took the skates out of Michael Mersch, and Manchester back on the power play here with 13:29 to go in the second. They lead 3-2. This is the Calder Cup Finals on NHL Network Radio, TSN 1410 and 94.9 K-Rock.
Shop the Herb Phillipson Super Dad's Day and Summertime Sale. Save on men's Levi jeans now with the lowest price of the season, just $34.97. All summer long games now 10% off. Our entire stock of rod and reel fishing combos also 10% off. Plus great savings on camping, fishing, and hunting gear.
For the best selection of name brands at low price fighter prices, shop Herb Phillipson, your outfitters for the great outdoors.
For Father's Day and summer fun, we have it all. Herb Phillipson's, your outfitters for the great outdoors. With locations in Rome, Oneida, Herkimer, and the New Hartford Shopping Center. Stop in today.
Herb Phillipson's for the great outdoors.
Get out and live it. Looks all the way over. Walk-timer score! Alex Grenier hammers one home.
This is the Utica Comets 2015 Calder Cup Playoffs on 94.9 K-Rock.
Manchester with a 3-2 lead and a power play. The go-ahead goal came on a power play just a few minutes ago, but a tripping call has sent Ken Huskins to the box, and the Monarchs work it to Miller, who has the power play goal. A wrist shot there. Too much traffic in front, never made it through to Markstrom. Markstrom resetting himself as he got knocked down in his crease, and now Mersch tried to step off the back wall. Couldn't bring the puck with him. Looks for another option as he sets up shop on the half wall. Drop for Shore. His backhand to Miller was shut down, so we'll send it around the ledge of the boards, and Wheel keeps it in at the far point. Dished on now for O'Neill. Spins back to the goal line for Shore. Shore drives it in front. Poke checked away by Markstrom. Corrado couldn't clear it down as he and Mersch get wrestled down together. Now it's O'Neill into the slot, and that one blocked away by Biega. Near side boards Miller. Flip down for Shore. Mersch and Corrado still battling there. That's where Michael Mersch goes to work. It is Wheel to the line for Miller. His shot knocked out of the air by Corrado's stick shaft. Picked up by O'Neill again. Fed out to Miller. Waits, drags, shoots, save. Markstrom rebound knocked wide. Mersch diving for it. Biega goes down on top of him. Puck underneath that pair as it squirts free. O'Neill centers, and this is Wheel with 50 seconds to go on the power play. Down the wall once more for Shore. Shore into the face-off circle for Mersch right in front. Markstrom shut it down. Wraparound attempt right through. Backdoor they score. Michael Mersch sent it across. Brian O'Neill and Nick Shore were right there. It is 4-2 Manchester with 2 power play goals here in the second period. The Comets trailed 2-0. They tied it at 2, and now Manchester has come back with 2 power play goals in the first 8 minutes of the second period. Nick Shore will get his 4th. And the Comets have their work cut out for them yet again. Well, they've done it once. They'll have to believe they can do it again. As the puck dumped in on Bartosak, and he plays it just as the whistle had sounded. And so with 12:01 remaining, there will be a face-off inside the Comet zone. It is the 4th of the playoffs from Shore. Brian O'Neill got a piece of it. He gets the primary assist, and Michael Mersch, who was actually trying to wrap that puck around to the near side of the net and had it roll across the crease. He gets credit for the secondary helper. First point for Mersch since game 1. Same for O'Neill. Trying to keep them all straight. Here's Corey Conacher coming in. Got a punch to the face and a penalty called here against Manchester. Markstrom navigates towards the bench as the play coming back towards him as the Comets have control. And Peter Anderson goes back to Mike Zaleski, extra attacker on in Cal O'Reilly. It is Conacher across the line, trying to keep control. Lost it to Anderson. This one hit Laverty up high, the puck that is. He hits the deck, they get the touch and a whistle, and the face-off will be inside the zone, and the Comets will have a chance to respond on the power play. They are 1 for 1 as well. Corey Conacher came driving down the left wing wall, and as Bondarchuk backed up, played the body, that's okay, but he went with the forearm shiver right to the face, and that was the one called by the officials here tonight. This Comets power play will be brought to you by Bowen's Power Sports. Visit Bowen's in Ilion for all your recreational vehicle sales, service, and accessory needs. Sven Berchi has the Comets' lone power play goal on their lone opportunity back at the end of the first period. Meanwhile, Manchester has opened this game up with a couple of power play goals of their own. O'Reilly, Conacher, Grenier, Berchi, and Sanguinetti. And a face-off won cleanly back to Berchi by O'Reilly. Sanguinetti and Berchi. Berchi winds and waits, gives back to Sanguinetti. He'll slide it to O'Reilly on the far wall, back to Sanguinetti at the top, got handcuffed, and it came out to center. Bondarchuk is off for roughing. And it is Sanguinetti behind the net for Alex Grenier on the far wall. Grenier lost it. It came and is cleared by Michael Mersch. Markstrom will knock it down and quickly play it up ice. Berchi will turn his attention towards Patrick Bartosak, starting his first playoff game in the American Hockey League in his career for an injury to J.F. Berube. Here's O'Reilly trying to get the puck under control and weave his way towards the net. He lost it, and it's bounced right back down the ice. Markstrom will leave it at the side. This is just the 6th time in this postseason that Jacob Markstrom in now 22 games has allowed more than 2 goals in a playoff hockey game. Is this puck thrown back out of the Manchester zone and right into the Comets bench? Face-off will be inside that Manchester end close to Patrick Bartosak. Had the 6th lowest goals against average during the regular season in the American Hockey League, but he only played in 28 games. Jean-Francois Berube, the starter, in more games and picked up more wins than any other goalie in the AHL, which means Patrick Bartosak, one of the least used backup netminders, but did win 13 of his 28 appearances during the regular season with a 2.14 goals against average. Here is Anderson, straight away at the top, and then played back to the right side for Clendening. Wants to shoot but can't. Gives to Anderson, who can. Tipped, and it rolled between Bartosak's legs but wide. Around the ice, it is Friesen. Back down the wall. Drops it for Clendening. Clendening has Anderson and will saucer it his way. Left side, tipped over the top of the net as Bartosak went lunging forward and came up empty. Clendening can't hold the line after a hard skipping puck down to the final 30 seconds on the Bodnerchuk goal. Clendening from center. Left side for Gauntz. Jammed into Friesen. Friesen can't grab it. Forbort back up the wall, and it comes to Corrado. Corrado for Friesen. Friesen looking to the front. Can't get to there. To Corrado with the line for Clendening. Clendening drags. Wrist shot is tipped, and it comes to Friesen on the near boards. Friesen down low for Gauntz. Gauntz back to Friesen. Final 3 seconds of the power play. Corrado back down off the glass. It'll send Gauntz to it. Power play is over. Bodnerchuk racing back in. They bank the puck off the glass. Great keep by Clendening. Throws it towards the net, but wide with Gauntz parked in front. Friesen with another shot. That one ripped wide of the net after it was blocked by Vandergulik. Shinkarik raced to it, but lost an edge and went down, allowing the Monarchs to get to the puck and float it in behind Markstrom. Utica now 1 for 2 on the power play. As Zaleski, they say, didn't get a piece of that puck, and so icing is called against Utica. The crowd can't believe it. Zaleski can't either. Certainly looked like he got a piece of that puck, but the call will not be changed. The IBEW Local 43 and Unica Contractors are proud supporters of the Utica Comets on their quest for the Calder Cup. IBEW and Unica Contractors, we're on the job for you. Couple close calls, but nothing else to speak of on the most recent Comets power play. Face-off, push out to the line, and across it, they say, and offsides whistled against Manchester this time. 8 minutes and 57 seconds to go in the second period. Manchester has jumped back out to a 4-2 lead. This is the Calder Cup Finals on NHL Network Radio, TSN 1410 and 94.9 K-Rock.
Number one is better than ever. Mohawk Honda just keeps setting records month after month. With almost 2,500 total vehicles already sold to our family of Mohawk Honda customers this year, the deals keep getting better at the number one volume dealer in the capital region. Shop over 10 acres of savings opportunities on Route 50 in Glenville for your next Mohawk Honda and receive the experience you've always been looking for and deserve. Our Mohawk Exchange program will upgrade you to a new vehicle for the same or lower payment. Just ask for one of our MXP specialists, Tiffany, Katie, Viday, or Michelle. They're here daily to service your next automotive needs. Summer is here, and we're already starting to make room for the 2016 models with incredible savings on all of our 2015 models. If new isn't for you, we offer a selection of almost 400 of the best pre-owned vehicles, all at one low, no-hassle price. So why shop anywhere but number one? Mohawk Honda, number one in volume, savings, selection, and most importantly, service. Mohawk Honda, where we go out of our way to please you. Number one volume based on 2013-2014 new vehicle sales per AHL.
Looks all the way over.
This is the Utica Comets 2015 Calder Cup Playoffs on 94.9 K-Rock.
8 minutes and 57 seconds remaining in Game 4, the second period of it, of the Calder Cup Finals here from the Utica Memorial Auditorium. Manchester with a 4-2 lead over the Comets. Manchester had a 2-0 lead in the first. The Comets came back and tied it before the end of that opening frame, but Colin Miller at 3:08 and Nick Shore at 7:51 have made this a 4-2 Monarchs edge as Mike Zaleski rolls his way into the Monarch zone, takes a hit but still has the puck as Zaleski tries to skate away from Bodnerchuk. Involved is Wasey Hamilton, and now it's Gauntz with a quick shot that's blocked. Gauntz's second effort, he got tied up with Wheel, and then Laverty tried to clear, but there was Zaleski poked across the ice, and it comes to Mersch. Mersch trying to hand it off. Instead, it got to Alex Biega, and Wasey Hamilton got there, forced it back to Biega inside the Utica zone. Cross-ice pass to his partner Corrado, and then dumped down by Brendan Gauntz. It'll be Bartosak out of his goal to play in for Bodnerchuk. Monarchs defenseman sent ahead for Mersch. Mersch had it poked off his stick by Sanguinetti, but then launched ahead. Foot race between Anderson and O'Neill. Anderson went down. O'Neill gets the puck, tries to send it across the ice for Forbort, and a nice stick in the lane by Sven Berchi. Knocked that puck rolling side to side, and now it's Berchi settling it down again. Puck in his skates, pile up ensues. Berchi comes away. He has his pocket picked by Kempe, put back in front as Kempe and O'Brien trying to give and go. And this is Kempe along the boards now. Kempe slides it. O'Brien turned it right through the crease, but wide of the goal. Picked up into the point. Ebert's shot tipped out of the air by O'Brien, but again wide as well. Now it's Shore. Turning and shooting, and a blocker saved by Markstrom, and he'll get that one over the glass and out of play. As so much of this second period has been spent inside the Comet zone, the shots have opened back up to a 23-12 margin in favor of the Manchester Monarchs. Monarchs averaging 32 shots per game and allowing just 24 so far in the postseason. They had won 8 consecutive playoff games before the Comets came up with a 3-2 win on Wednesday night in Game 3. They have, for the most part, rolled through the playoffs, with their only close call coming way back in round 1. The number 1 seeded Manchester Monarchs went to an elimination game in a best-of-5 series against the 8th seeded Portland Pirates. The Arizona Coyotes affiliate took them to the decisive 5 games after the Monarchs won the first 2 at home and lost games 3 and 4 on the road. And in Game 5, Monarchs blew a 3-0 lead. It was tied at 3, came back, won the game 5-3. They then rolled through Wilkes-Barre Scranton in 5 games, and then a clean sweep of the Hartford Wolfpack in the Eastern Conference Finals. Huskins goes back. Icing is called against Manchester as they floated a dump in and didn't think it would have the juice to get to the goal line, but it did. The Comets' path here was a little more arduous and took a few more games to complete. The Comets alternated wins and losses in the 5-game series with the Chicago Wolves, winning games 1, 3, and 5 to open the playoffs. Then in a 7-game series against the Oklahoma City Barons in the Western Conference semis, it went 7 games. And right now a timeout is taken. No, a penalty is called against David Vandergulik. After the icing, Vandergulik was being ordered to get on the ice. He would not comply. He is saying he is injured. And Laverty's going to come over and argue, but an unsportsmanlike penalty call has been made against the Manchester Monarchs for delaying the faceoff following the icing. And so the Comets will have a power play here with 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the second period. Laverty still arguing. Vandergulik has been called for the penalty. And Mike Stothers obviously not happy. I thought for a moment that he was signaling he was charging Manchester with their timeout as a result. It is in fact the same signal as unsportsmanlike conduct. And they have called the penalty. It becomes, I'm guessing they're saying it is either a bench minor or in fact Vandergulik is too injured to serve the penalty himself. So Jordan Wheel has gone and sat in the box, despite the fact that Vandergulik, number 14, is up on the scoreboard. .7:20 to go here in the second. A very similar situation to the first when the Comets were able to climb back in it at the end. A power play goal could do wonders for the Comets here, but Utica's Alex Grenier tossed out of the faceoff. They have to reset the clock 1 second. They dropped the puck before the penalty clock got back up there. And that'll actually give the Comets an extra second, but the referees have noticed that and they will adjust it at the next whistle or let Wheel out with 1 second on the clock as Cal O'Reilly will bring it up through center ice. O'Reilly drops back for Berchi as Berchi comes in across the line. They called Vandergulik for delay of game as O'Reilly's pass into the skates of Sanguinetti. Sanguinetti back to O'Reilly on the boards. O'Reilly down into the half wall to goal line for Grenier. Tried to center, batted away by Bartoszek, kept alive by O'Reilly as he poked it free from shore. Sanguinetti hands back to O'Reilly. Closing in, trying to go rink wide, deflected to the front. Kicked out of the air, punched back, thrown out of play. That's a penalty for delay of game as well. It'll be a 5-on-3 here for 1 minute and 20. That's a bad bounce for Manchester, just trying to clear it away from the front of the net. A defensive swing with the puck on edge, and it goes straight into the seats here at the Aud. Michael Marsh will sit. And a lengthy 5-on-3 opportunity here for the Comets to try and climb back into this one. Conacher, O'Reilly, Berchi, Sanguinetti, and Grenier will stay the 5-man unit for Utica. Dowd, Laverty, and Bodnarchuk in front of goaltender Patrick Bartoszek for Manchester. And this power play or penalty kill could in fact be the hockey game. A broken stick off the faceoff, but a clear for Dowd will allow him to get to the bench for a new stick as Cal O'Reilly begins the trek up ice for Utica. Floats one over for Sanguinetti, who will drop it and then steer it down the boards back to himself. Sanguinetti into the corner for Berchi. Berchi set up on the half wall and then feeds it to the top for Sanguinetti. Over for Grenier, down to the goal line. O'Reilly to Sanguinetti. Pumps, Grenier, one-timer is blocked in front. Loose puck far side. O'Reilly, a great job to get there. Took a hit down along the boards. Gets back up to his feet though. Shaken, but okay. O'Reilly handles here. O'Reilly behind his back to the goal line for Berchi. Conacher's alone in front of the goal. Berchi steps out. Grenier can't shoot. Turns it back down for O'Reilly. 30 seconds left on the two-man advantage. O'Reilly out to Sanguinetti. Fans on a pass, gets it back down for Berchi. Berchi to Sanguinetti. Over and waiting. Conacher slides it. O'Reilly is here. 20 seconds left on the two-man advantage. O'Reilly takes a path up top. Conacher's one-timer. Save made. Rebound alive and pushed to the boards. O'Reilly has it with 10 on the two-man advantage. Berchi to the blue line. Sanguinetti over. Conacher fans. It comes to O'Reilly. Tries to center again. It's taken and cleared. Two-man advantage, he's over. Out of the box comes Wheel. Markstrom steers it ahead for Grenier and then on for O'Reilly. Conacher to the net. O'Reilly waits and shoots. Bartasek the save and no rebound. And a penalty coming here. And I believe it's against Corey Conacher. Conacher got grabbed from behind by Derek Forbort. He responded with a shove to Forbort and they take just Conacher. And will wash away the final 34 seconds of the Comets power play. One of the things that both coaches are just looking for is consistency. And I'll tell you what, right now, both coaches have to be livid with the stuff that's gone after the whistle. At this point, I have no idea what is a penalty and what is not. We saw a full-out wrestling match earlier between two guys, one of them being Conacher, that was just let go. But now, with a chance to give 4-on-4 life, they enforce one against just Corey Conacher. Here's Shinkarik up across the line, slides to Friesen, shoots one off the blocker of the goaltender Bartasek. Picked up by Forbort, and Forbort, left wing pass, gives to Kevin Gravel. Turning and twisting away from Shinkarik. The puck hit off the skate of the referee. And then the goaltender Bartasek dives on top of it. And a crowd gathers, of course, yet again. 4 minutes, 51 seconds to go in the second period. Comets missed a glorious opportunity. They still trail 4-2. This is the Calder Cup Finals on TSN 1410 and 94.9 K-Rock.
Paris, they're the commercial mower specialist. It's a bold statement, but with their innovative features, heavy-duty, no-nonsense construction, and unsurpassed reliability, it's one they're able to back up, which is why they're the growing choice among landscape contractors and discriminating homeowners. And when you visit Clinton Tractor on Meadow Street in Clinton, you'll see how the Ferris commitment to quality can help you. Take their patented four-wheel suspension system. These systems absorb bumps and jolts for a more comfortable ride, keep consistent pressure on the drive wheels for a more secure ride, and cause less wear and tear on your machine for a more reliable ride. And because you're not slowing down to compensate for those rough spots, you'll mow more lawn in less time. You understand the importance of quality. Shouldn't you demand the highest quality from your equipment? To see the complete line of Ferris mowers and find out which is best for you, visit the Caledona family at Clinton Tractor on Meadow Street in Clinton, or you can visit them online at clintontractor.net.
Looks all the way over.
This is the Utica Comets 2015 Calder Cup Playoffs on 94.9 K-Rock.
Manchester had a 2-0 lead. Comets tied it at 2. The Monarchs have regained a 2-goal edge at 4-2 with 4:50 to go in the second period of Game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals. They lead the series 2-1, 4-on-4 for 7 more seconds before a Monarchs power play of 1:26 will begin as Ken Huskins handles the puck behind the net. Power play begins and the Comets clear it down. No icing as a perfectly timed clear by Ken Huskins. Travels back behind Patrick Bartasek. Colin Miller will skate up from behind the goal. Miller, left wing for O'Neill. And O'Neill lost it. Biega put him against the glass. Huskins comes over, pins his man. Gaunce gets involved. Can't push it across the line. Miller skating east to west, right along that blue line. Gets around Gaunce, brings it to the front. Huskins with a block as he let down on one knee. Now it's Wheel to the right side for Miller. Miller into the circle. Lost it and got it back along the boards. All the way across. A shot from Shore, saved by Markstrom. Rebound alive. Traffic in front. Players diving around, and it comes to the boards. Out to the line for Miller. Back across the ice, it is Wheel. 40 seconds on the power play. Shore into the circle. Mishandled the puck. Gathers it up along the boards. Shore feeds the line. Miller back to Shore. Closing in from the dot. Backdoor pass. O'Neill right in front off the skates of Mersch and went wide. Then centered again. Taken by Wheel. High slot. Left circle. It's given to O'Neill. Risks a shot. Tipped by Mersch off of Markstrom and off the glass. It stays in play. 15 seconds left on the power play for Manchester. Forced down the boards. Mersch on for O'Neill. Blue line. Wheel had to jump his stick and come out to center. 5 seconds left before Conacher returns. Loose puck at center ice. Comets snuck part of a change, and then the Monarchs dump it in. Huskins will get there. Conacher out onto the ice as this one wrapped into the seats by Huskins, but off the glass and out of play, so there is no penalty call, and the Comets will get their lines back together to a certain extent. What this penalty-filled game has done, it has taken the flow out of it. And so the Comets, who are accustomed to running four lines and trying to grind down and wear down teams, well, there has been very little of that. We haven't seen a lot of Brandon DeFazio tonight. We haven't seen a lot of Hunter Shinkarik tonight. That Will Acton on that line as well. Wasey Hamilton's line hasn't been able to get out intact very much. Bobby Sanguinetti off the boards. Nicholas Jensen forced it ahead, and now it's O'Reilly unable to clear it out. And of course, with that becomes extra ice time for your main players. You're gonna need them to have some juice left here. Here's Jensen. Trying to power down the wall, jump around Laverty. Laverty took his hand off his stick, wrapped up Jensen. Jensen double team. Grenier comes along to pick up the puck. Grenier couldn't get it out to the line, sent it behind the net. Jensen racing after it. Bednarchuk lined him up. Meanwhile, Grenier and Laverty got all sorts of tangled together, and now a 2-on-1 developing for the Manchester Monarchs. Left side, it is Kempe across for Backman in alone. Puck in his skates, tried to drop it off for down. It's chopped out of the zone by Anderson, who got back defensively for Utica. It was an awkward 2-on-1 and a sloppy play as Grenier and Laverty continue to battle. That sent Laverty to the ice right in front of the referee and the benches. As play carries on, Ebert for Manchester. Lost it to Corey Conacher. Ebert and Conacher come together in a violent collision with them both going down along the end wall. Clendenning hit by Auger fore side. They both go down. Puck sneaks out to the blue line. Conacher got buried in front. The crowd reacting to that. Here's Clendenning. Out straight away. Berchi winding, shooting. Blocked in front with the traffic that's there. And then tipped out to center ice. Berchi will grab it for Utica. Berchi curling and protecting. Try to give on now for Conacher. It bounced back for Huskins. Sprayed to the far side. Clendenning in his skates failed to get it deep. Conacher came over. Steered on for Berchi. Berchi tried to rip it back away. Instead, it's Shore punching this one back into the Utica zone. 90 seconds left in the second period. Manchester with a 4-2 lead and a 2-1 series lead in Game 4 of this Calder Cup final. DeFazio got a piece. No icing here as Shinkarik and Acton will join him out there. DeFazio trying to dig it out from behind the Manchester net. Shinkarik has it in his skates with Kevin Gravel. It is still there. Shinkarik knocks it free. And now Acton and Forbort continue the battle. Out to the line, kept in by Alex Biega for Utica. Final minute of play in our second frame. DeFazio tried to sneak a pass through. It was cut off by O'Neill. Here's Mersch back in for Manchester. Mersch drops. O'Neill to Mersch. Fanned on a one-timer. Swing and a miss. It's grabbed by Will Acton. Poke checked away in front. And a loose puck shot on goal by Mersch. And a great save by Markstrom. Half another bad turnover by Utica. Gravel holds the line for the Monarchs. Slips it down near corner. Biega after it. Runs off Michael Mersch. Half a minute to go in the period. Near side. 80s Wheel toppled down to the ice. Acton sprays it across, and this is DeFazio. 2-on-2 with Shinkarik. Drop pass to Shinkarik. Curling and looking. Shinkarik winds up losing it. Sanguinetti is there, but it's played to Miller. Miller knocked down, and the puck bounced ahead. Here's Dowd with a chance to cut in on Markstrom. 10 seconds to go. He shoots and scores. Picks the top corner over the glove of Markstrom. It's the second goal of the period for Nick Dowd, and the Monarchs' lead is 5-2. It comes with only 10.3 left in the second period. What a huge goal for Nick Dowd of the Manchester Monarchs. Comets failed to get the puck in deep. Sanguinetti got beat trying to do so, and as it came up ice, just a blistering wrist shot from Nick Dowd, a rookie out of St. Cloud State. It's his 7th of the postseason and 3rd here of this series. Face-off coming with 10.3 to go. Lacey Hamilton will take the face-off for Utica against Nick Shore. Shore wins it back. Laverty handles here. The Monarchs captain floats it ahead. It is gloved down and played by Manchester. It was either offsides or a hand pass, depending on who touched the puck. It is a hand pass, or excuse me, offsides against Manchester. Face-off coming out back inside the Manchester zone, they're going to say. But only 2.5 seconds remaining on the clock. In our second period of play, that has been all Manchester. They scored twice on the power play. Colin Miller at 3:08 and Nick Shore at 7:51. And then Shore again at 19:49. This time, even strength. And the lead is 3 for the Monarchs. Cal O'Reilly, Alex Grenier, Sven Berchi, Sanguinetti, and Conacher set up to try and get one towards the net in 2.5 seconds, but the puck comes out. Sanguinetti, one last shot is blocked by Mersch out of the zone, and the second period has come to a close, and the Comets certainly have their work cut out for them in the third period. They trail by 3 after 40 minutes and are in danger of falling behind 3-1 in this Calder Cup Finals. Manchester, 29 shots on goal through 40 minutes. 13 of them came in that second period in which they scored 3 times. The Comets mustered 7 shots on goal, 2 fewer than they had in the first period, and have picked up 16 through the first 40 minutes of play tonight. Manchester 5, Utica 2. We're back to talk more about it next. Third period on the way from the Utica Memorial Auditorium. This is Comets Hockey at the Calder Cup Finals on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, TSN 1410 and 94.9 KROC. Well, the Manchester Monarchs are showing why they won 50 games and had 109 points during the AHL's regular season. By far the highest numbers in the American Hockey League as the number 1 seed. Manchester meeting the number 2 seed Utica in the AHL's Calder Cup Finals. And Manchester with a dominating performance here tonight. They've got a 5-2 lead over the Utica Comets after the first 40 minutes of play. Comets were able to erase 1 2-goal lead and tie the score at 2 before the end of the first period. But in that second frame, Colin Miller on the power play at 3:08, then Nick Shore at 7:51, and Nick Dowd at 19:49. 2 goals in the game for Nick Dowd. And the Comets will have to come from behind, down 3 going into the third period, as Manchester has flexed their offensive muscles here really for the first time in this Calder Cup final. We had read all the notes, we have looked at the numbers about Manchester's offensive ability, but it hadn't shown through until tonight, as their gifted players are certainly standing out. Manchester's used to scoring first, and they're used to winning when they do so. They scored first and second tonight for the Monarchs. But when it comes to comparing what they have done to what Utica has done in terms of offense versus defense, here are some numbers for you. The Manchester Monarchs, this is the 8th time in the playoffs, in now 18 games, that they have scored 5+ goals. They hadn't done it, obviously, against Utica in the first 3 games. They scored 5+ in 7 of their first 14 playoff games after doing it 15 times during the regular season. In case you're wondering, the Comets scored 5-plus goals 11 times in 76 regular season games and have done it 0 times now in 21-plus playoff games for the Comets. Comets have won games on defense, allowing 2 or fewer goals in 16 of 21 playoff games, but they are winless in games in which they have allowed 3-plus. They are facing that situation now, and potentially their dreams at a Calder Cup hanging in the balance. Again, it is not impossible, but it would certainly be improbable if the Comets fall behind 3-1, with Game 5 scheduled here tomorrow night, and would have to win just to force the series back to Manchester. Game 6 would be on Tuesday. Game 7 would be on Wednesday. Of course, those still with an asterisk next to them in the if necessary category for our 7-game best-of-7 series between the Comets and the Manchester Monarchs. The Utica Comets Calder Cup broadcast tonight is brought to you in part by Riverside Diner, Oneida Healthcare, Lennon's W.B. Wilcox Jewelers, Herb Phillipson's Beer Here, and the United Way. Manchester has a 5-2 lead. They outshot the Comets 13-7 during that second period, and the power play comes up big as well. Manchester had been just 2-for-12, 16.5% on the power play in the first 3 games of this series. But here tonight, they are 2-for-4. And maybe more importantly, they are 3-for-4 on the penalty kill, but during that second period, there was a turning point. We'll see if it was, in fact, the turning point of the game. But the Utica Comets, down 4-2, had a grand opportunity. Penalties called, one for David Vandergulik refusing to get to the face-off circle when ordered to by the referees after an icing. He was called for delay of game. That was at 12:40, and then Michael Mersch was called for delay of game, this one of a different variety, as he shot the puck out of play while on the penalty kill from his own defensive zone. And so it created 1 minute and 20 seconds, 80 seconds of 5-on-3 time for the Utica Comets power play unit. They got 0 shots and only attempted 2 during that 80-second stretch. And then shortly after it became 5-on-4, Corey Conacher was called for roughing at 14:49 and in fact wiped away just over a half a minute of power play time for Utica, and then created 1 minute and 26 seconds of power play time for Manchester at the conclusion of Conacher's roughing minor. There have been 34 penalty minutes handed out tonight between the two teams, evenly distributed, 17 for Manchester, 17 for Utica. The power plays have evened up as well. 4 chances for Manchester, 4 chances for the Comets. But Manchester, as I mentioned, 2-for-4, and the Utica Comets are 1-for-4. We saw twice in that period Jacob Markstrom get beat by a blistering wrist shot in which he saw, including that last goal by Nick Dowd. That doesn't happen too very often, and that's not a knock on Jacob Markstrom here tonight. We have seen some incredible shots taken by the Manchester Monarchs forwards, Nick Dowd, Colin Miller, with some special shots that have gotten through Jacob Markstrom, who has given up now 5 goals, very uncharacteristic for him. It is the second time in the playoffs that Markstrom has allowed 5 goals in a game. The last time it didn't end well. The Comets lost the game 7-4 back on May 13th to the Oklahoma City Barons. That was game 4 as well of that series, but the difference being the Comets held a 2-1 series lead and not trailed in the series 2-1. We'll come back. We'll get you ready for period 3. Comets down by 3 after 2. You're listening to Utica Comets Hockey. This is the Calder Cup Finals, Game 4 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, TSN 1410 and 94.9 KROC. Utica Comets, Manchester Monarchs playing for a 35-pound trophy. That means a whole lot to everybody who skates on the ice in the American Hockey League. A trophy that dates back to the 1930s, a league that will celebrate its 80th anniversary next season. The Utica Comets in just their second season as members of the American Hockey League. Manchester is in its 14th and final. The Monarchs, AHL affiliate of the LA Kings, next year will not be Manchester. It will be the Ontario Reign out in Ontario, California. The Manchester Monarchs will now become the NHL's LA Kings ECHL affiliate, the AA Hockey League, if you will. So Manchester in its first finals, after making it to 2 conference finals and losing out in 2007 and 2010 to the Hershey Bears. They finally get through. They have been the top team in the Eastern Conference and really the American Hockey League pretty much wire to wire this season. And they are showing why here tonight with an impressive display and a 5-2 lead for the Utica over the Utica Comets here as we close in on the start of our third period of play. The Utica Comets are trying to come back in the series and in this hockey game. They trail the series 2-1. They trail the game 5-2. A loss would put them 1 loss away from the Manchester Monarchs raising the Calder Cup. And the Comets want to make sure not only that it doesn't happen, but it doesn't happen here at the Aud tomorrow night. They need to win 1 either tonight or tomorrow to force this series back to Manchester, New Hampshire for a game on Tuesday. 5-2, Manchester leads it. Third period starts next. This is Comets Hockey and the Calder Cup Finals on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, TSN 1410 and 94.9 K-Rock.
The IBEW Local 43 and the National Electrical Contractors Association have been a part of Central New York for over 100 years. The IBEW's state-of-the-art training facility offers classroom instruction as well as everyday on-the-job construction training. From the Carrier Dome to our local hospitals, malls, schools, and city buildings, Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 will continue to help light, power, and grow our community.
Accelerate your game at the Accelerate Sports Complex on Judd Road in Whitesboro. At Accelerate Sports, you can get sports-specific individual or group instruction. And with their newly fully equipped fitness center, Performance Food Center, and smoothie bar, Accelerate Sports can meet all your athletic and fitness needs. Visit accelerate-sports.com to book your league, event, or training session, or to find out more about their new youth summer programs. Accelerate your game using the area's largest indoor sports and fitness facility, the Accelerate Sports Complex on Judd Road in Whitesboro.
Injured workers. In these trying economic times, insurance companies are contesting more and more valid claims of injured workers. Attorney Sawson has successfully represented injured workers for more than 30 years. The law office of Attorney Sawson is a full-service law office. Contact Robert Sawson today to schedule an appointment for your workers' compensation, personal injury, Social Security, or matrimonial matter. Call Attorney Sawson at 733-2208. Aggressive representation for the injured worker.
Don't be forced to choose between a fixed or variable rate home equity loan. Come to GPO Federal Credit Union where you can have both.
Membership eligibility required. Credit restrictions apply. GPO is federally insured by the NCUA. Equal housing lender. This is the Utica Comets 2015 Calder Cup Playoffs on 94.9 K-Rock.
Manchester with a 5-2 lead to start the third period against the Utica Comets. They lead the series 2-1, and they ice the puck off the opening faceoff of the third period. Comets gave up the first 2 goals of the game before scoring twice to tie it at 2. Manchester scored 3 unanswered in the second period, including a heartbreaker with 10 seconds remaining in the second. Nick down a couple of goals. And the Comets Sanguinetti, a blast into Bartoszak. The save was made. Diving for the rebound, Grenier comes up with it. To the line, Sanguinetti, another shot. Tipped down in front and steered away from Jensen by Nick Dowd. And then through center ice, Justin Auger to tip it in. Markstrom stops it behind the net and gives on now near side to Bobby Sanguinetti. Sanguinetti up ice for O'Reilly, into the zone. O'Reilly to the outside, on the backhand to the front, juggled by Bartoszak, and he's able to secure it before the puck hit the ice once more. And not a bad start, but it's only been 40 seconds here in the third period, and the Comets need 3 goals. The final game here at the Aud this season will be tomorrow night, one way or the other. The Utica Comets have already sold that game out. It'll be the 13th consecutive postseason sellout, following 26 sellouts of 38 games during the regular season. It is a small building of 3,835 seats, but they are always full and always loud. And here in the playoffs, they have always been filled with fans dressed all in white. Comets send the puck around the defensive zone, but it's picked up and steered by Wheel. Back behind the net, Mersch tries to center. There is Hunter Shinkarik to take it away. Outlets on to Will Acton. Acton ahead, he'll get in. Giving to Corrado. Corrado back to Acton along the boards. Tried to leave it, Acton still has it. And this one chipped behind DeFazio, and Jordan Wheel turned it over at center. Glendening trying to escape the hacks from Jordan Wheel. The North Vancouver product knocked down Glendening, took the puck, fed it out to the line. Here's Ebert between his legs to the backhand save made. Rebound alive for O'Neill, trying to bank it in off Markstrom as he went behind the net. That avenue was shut down, and now Corrado and O'Neill tie up, allow Glendening to get the puck. He overskates, and he'll have to wait and look for another option. Little pressure coming from Manchester, allowing him to send it across for Corrado, and then Corrado back to Glendening. A minute 40 gone here in the third. Comets get it down the ice, but it's jammed right back in by Ebert. Collected by Glendening. Stretch pass to Conacher. Turning up the notch a little bit as Conacher steps down the boards. Chopped off his stick. Conacher will come back to it. Leaving it along the end wall. Berchi and Forbort tied up there. Berchi goes down. Friesen gets over to secure the puck for Utica. Slipped it free. Conacher went to center. Forbort shut it down. Conacher again. There's Friesen with a blast as he got knocked down. And the puck kicked back behind Sanguinetti's shot. Tipped off the outside of the net. Friesen on Colin Miller shoves him off the puck, but it came right to Auger, who will glass it out to center ice, and now it is Conacher spinning with it. This one picked up by Shore coming in. Sanguinetti shut off the shot, and now it's taken back behind the goal by Crescenzi. Pocket pick by Sanguinetti. Left wing for Berchi. Berchi floats it on now. This is Alex Friesen. 1-on-4. He'll just make sure it's deep, and then chase after Laverty. Laverty leaves for down, and the Monarchs forward goes off the glove of a leaping Alex Biega and back in front of the Utica bench. No hand pass call here, and Gravel takes it back for Manchester. Laverty into the skates of Backman. Laverty was knocked down by Mike Zaleski as he finished the check on the Monarchs captain. Markstrom around the boards for Anderson. Kicked free by Gauntz, but he couldn't direct it to Hamilton, so instead it's shot back down over the head of Jacob Markstrom. 3 minutes gone here in the third period. Comets trail by 3. This is game 4. Comets down 2-1. Alex Biega across the line. Slows up and waits. Floats one to the front. Gaunt's got a piece, but it winds up jumping off his stick and out of play. And a face-off coming inside the Utica zone, or excuse me, inside nobody's zone, as they determined Gauntz was the last to touch it, and a face-off will be placed back out in front of the Manchester Monarchs bench. Utica fans, AHL Authentic is your only source for 2015 Calder Cup Finals game-used autographed Comets jerseys, as well as pucks and other great finals collectibles. Visit theahl.com right now to bid on the jerseys worn in Game 1, and log on beginning Wednesday night. That was last Wednesday. To bid on Game 3 jerseys. Own a piece of this historic Comet season. Log on to theahl.com now. We have a delay here, as I believe the panel of glass that Laverty was run into by Mike Zaleski, I'm not sure if it is broken or has just come loose. But the arena staff, it looks like, will have to come out and take a look at a panel of glass just to the side of the Manchester Monarchs penalty box. It is, in fact, just the holder that came free at the top of the glass, which was an easy fix and was done without anybody actually stepping foot on the ice from the Utica Memorial Auditorium arena staff. And so they get that re-secured, and the game will restart here. Manchester with a 5-2 lead. Shots are 30-19 in their favor. 16:43 to go in our third period of Game 4. Acton and Wheel will eventually have the puck drop between them. Or maybe not. Wheel jumped in too early. Acton gave him a whack, and then Acton is tossed out of the faceoff. And Acton with a few words for Nick Dowd on the Monarchs bench. Acton, one of the players the Comets acquired via trade during this season. The trades have been a big part of the Comets' success, not only during the regular season, but here in the postseason as well, as Markstrom gloved down a shot going wide, dropped it off for Corrado, steered ahead for DeFazio, but he couldn't keep it on his stick. Acton traded for Kellen Lane. as the Canucks acquired him from the Edmonton Oilers organization. Given away at the side of the goal by Biega, but an alert Markstrom swatted it away from danger. And then Acton pressuring, but can't come up with the puck. And Biega will have to retrieve it for Utica. 4 minutes gone here in the third period. Comets looking just for that next one. See what they can build off of from there. As Huskins pushed it on for O'Reilly, and he'll tip this one in, send Jensen after it. Bodnarchuk run into by Jensen, and then it's Laverty trying to get away from O'Reilly. Takes the puck behind the net. O'Reilly stays with him. Laverty does pull away, though. And Laverty's pass stretches on for Shore, and then across the line, Kempe. Kempe's drop pass went to no one. O'Reilly came over there with O'Brien. And it's work behind the Utica net. Ken Huskins with a rolling pass to Grenier. Grenier all the way over for Jensen. Couldn't complete the pass, but he did get a piece and knocked it into the Manchester zone. 4.5 minutes gone here in the third period. Comets down 5-2. Friesen steals it away from Colin Miller. Coming in down the right wing. Friesen to the front. It's blocked down. Loose puck. Sanguinetti with a jam. It was alone in the crease, and the Monarchs clear it away. There were multiple chances for players to punch that one into an empty cage, and they couldn't get it to go. Back in come the Comets. Berchi upended. Icing could have been called, but he's not against Manchester. And then Dowd takes down Anderson, centers it with his skates. Markstrom a save, and Markstrom gets barreled into by big Justin Auger. And things quickly calm down. Puck was in Markstrom's pads. Auger got a good shot in there with the stick. And of course, a few Comets players came to a defense, but the most undersized line the Comets have, Conacher, Friesen, and Berchi were out there, and Justin Auger is 6'7", 230 pounds from Waterloo, Ontario. Played in Guelph last year, where he was a teammate of a few different players. Ryan Horvat, his current teammate. One of the electric rookies we saw in the last series with Grand Rapids, Tyler Bertuzzi, as well as in the first series of the playoffs, Robbie Fabry, first-round pick by the St. Louis Blues. Comets clear it off the glass and out to center ice. And this one is given to Jordan Wheel. Wheel on for Mersch, and he'll spin it around the net. Jumping over the stick of Markstrom, who came out to try and play. Corrado stapled O'Neill, and then collision between Hamilton and Wheel. They both went down. Wheel got back up. Comets take the puck, though. Zaleski drops it off. Biega will curl back with it. Looking for Zaleski and finds him. Zaleski can't find his way up ice. Manchester doing a great job clogging the neutral zone. And it has been a return to game one. The Monarchs dominated in a 3-2 win, in which they outshot the Comets by 20. Tonight the margin is 12, but the margin on the scoreboard is bigger at 3. 5-2 the score as Markstrom pries one off his pads to the boards. Crescenzi right back in front. Shore got a piece but couldn't get it on goal. Grenier will scoop it up and work ahead. Grenier to Clendenning, who joins the rush, but it's knocked off his stick just outside the line, and it creates an offside situation against the Utica Comets. With 13 minutes and 49 seconds to go in the third, Manchester still leads by 3. This is the Calder Cup Finals on NHL Network Radio, TSN 1410 and 94.9 K-Rock.
Murphy Excavating, serving the Mohawk Valley since 1952, is a proud supporter of the Utica Comets. They offer complete commercial and residential services. Whether it's a drainage issue, lawn and driveway repairs, or site development, Murphy Excavating will get the job done. As a bonded and fully insured full-service local contractor, Murphy Excavating safely and effectively delivers the services needed to get every aspect of the job done right, on time and on budget. They're on call 24 hours too. Murphy Excavating, 3 generations and counting.
1 in 5 people in our community seeks help from a United Way funded program every year. Whether or not they get that help depends on you. When you donate to United Way, your investment makes an impact in the lives of thousands of people and families right in your neighborhood. Help elderly couples maintain healthy lifestyles. Make sure children succeed in school. Help families meet basic needs and gain financial stability. Call 315-733-4691 or donate right now at unitedwayvgu.org.
Looks all the way over.
This is the Utica Comets 2015 Calder Cup Playoffs on 94.9 K-Rock.
The Comets still down by 3. They erased a 2-goal lead in the first period, but Manchester has scored the last 3. All of them were in the second period. We've now got 13:40 left in the third. As the Comets turn the puck over, it is Adrian Kempe wiring one. He scores! A knuckling slap shot from Adrian Kempe beats Markstrom glove side, and the Monarchs lead grows to 4. It is 6-2 Manchester. Adrian Kempe scored 2 goals in Game 3. He now has 7 in 16 games as a 19-year-old who joined the Comets, or excuse me, who joined the Monarchs from Modo, and that is going to be the end of the night for Jacob Markstrom. Comets goaltender Joachim Eriksson has just gone back to get his helmet and his gloves, and Markstrom will head off the ice. Joachim Eriksson will come on for just the second time in this postseason as the Comets players on the ice come over with some encouraging, reassuring taps for Jacob Markstrom. The crowd applauds him as well. Disappointed but respectful, and they know that this is not the fault of Jacob Markstrom. An ovation for Joachim Eriksson coming in. He played just 20 minutes of one game, the third period, against the Grand Rapids Griffins. It was Game 2. The Comets were down 4-0. They lost the game 4-2. Eriksson came in and played the third period. And so the Comets are down by 4. And no icing here as Eriksson spins the puck off the referee. Tried to go around the glass. It hit TJ Luxmore right in the backside instead. And the Monarchs converge on it. They send it to Dowd. Zaleski able to knock it free, and Peter Anderson works ahead. Anderson from center ice. He'll bang it in. Near sideboards, it is Hamilton. Back into the glass, Zaleski digging for it, lost his stick, able to kick it on. His stick was broken, he dropped it. It's jammed to the side of the goal by Gauntz, and Bartosak able to pick it up with the blocker hand as he shed his stick. And then grabbed it, and then Wasey Hamilton and Bodnerchuk have to be separated by the linesman. As the Comets just trying to build something now. The lead may be too great to overcome with the time they have left to do it. But with Game 5 coming tomorrow and potentially facing elimination, the way they finish this game is important to them. Will Acton to take the face-off. Thrown out of the zone off the skates of Corrado, picked up by Backman. Backman trying to cut in, and Diego got over to chop it off his stick and then threw it into the Comets bench. And so another face-off coming here between the Utica Comets and Manchester Monarchs back inside the Utica zone. Jacob Markstrom has been prone, and I don't want to say prone, but this is not the first time he has given up 6 goals in a game, which surprises people, and me included, when thinking about how well he has played and how great his numbers are. He gave up 5 goals on January 1st in a game the Comets lost 8-4 as Frank Corrado circles back behind the net. He gave up 6 goals in a game on November 21st against the Rochester Americans. This one batted in by the Monarchs' Michael Mersch, but batted in from the wrong side of the red line, and icing is called. So he has done that a few times during the regular season, in which he has given up 5+ and still managed to get through the regular season with an overall goals against average of 1.88. When it comes to playoff games, I mentioned the game he was pulled from, Game 2 against Grand Rapids, but that was not the one game in which he gave up 6 goals. That was a game against the Oklahoma City Barons, in which the Comets lost 7-4. It is now 6-2 Manchester with 12 minutes remaining. Adam Clendenning winding and shooting. It's blocked by Mersch off his skate and out of play. Joachim Eriksson, a 24-year-old Swede, is playing in his second season in North America, was the Comets' starting goaltender for most of last season, and was anticipated to be the starting goaltender for Utica this year as well, before the Vancouver Canucks went out and signed Ryan Miller. Miller's signing pushed Eddie Lack from starter to backup and pushed Jacob Markstrom from backup to AHL starter. But Eriksson has been the starter for stretches at times. First, the end of November and beginning of December when Markstrom was down with an injury. Eriksson performed well. He went 6-1-3 over the 10 games that Markstrom missed. And then most recently at the end of the season, the Comets had Markstrom up in Vancouver. Eriksson was their guy, and they still closed down the top seed in the Western Conference with some great play down the final stretch. Adrian Kempe trying to jump around Adam Clendenning. Clendenning cut him off, but it came to shore. And now it is Conacher up ice for Berchi. Berchi across the line, tried to dance, had it lost, but it came to Friesen. Friesen throws it into the slot. It was punched aside by Bartasek, picked up and thrown through center ice off the stick of O'Brien, and icing is called against Manchester. This time with 11 minutes and 28 seconds to go. Eriksson's numbers during the regular season: in 41 games, he won 22 times. A 2.53 goals against average and a .908 save percentage. His only game in the NHL did not go well. It was January 15th of last season. He allowed 6 goals on 31 shots. That was in relief. The final score was 9-1, a game that I'm sure Canucks fans don't want to remember, but certainly do. Off the draw, it's back to the blue line, and a shot from Anderson winds up well wide. Bobby Sanguinetti steered down the boards for Grenier. Grenier got hit from behind, and a penalty call here. Grenier grabs a hold of Bodnarchuk, wanting to do something, but will back off as the whistles sound, and the Comets will take the power play off the hit from Bodnarchuk. That was called by both referees, boarding the infraction and the Comets to the advantage. This Utica Comets Calder Cup broadcast on K-Rock is brought to you in part by Clinton Tractor, Joe Dan's Furniture, and GPO Federal Credit Union. JK Lumber, your home improvement experts, know the Comets are built for success and are proud to support the Comets and all things local. Visit them today at j-k.com. Fifth power play of the game for Utica. Their first since the missed 5-on-3 opportunity. One of the power plays for Utica lasted just a matter of seconds before Corey Conacher's roughing call evened it up. But again, the Comets want to finish this game strong, and a goal here would certainly help their confidence level moving into tomorrow. But this one is fired down the ice by Manchester and stopped back of the goal by Jacob Markstrom. Excuse me, by Joachim Eriksson, who was coming to replace Jacob Markstrom. O'Reilly leaves to Sanguinetti, and across the ice for Berchi. A sloppy pass, he'll have to come back for it. Berchi leaving to O'Reilly now. O'Reilly across, and he misfired on Sanguinetti, and the Comets still trouble getting out of their own end, and O'Reilly will have to double all the way back to the goal line. Manchester waiting the rush at center ice. O'Reilly to the right side for Grenier. Tried to toe drag around foreboard, couldn't do it. Finished his check on foreboard into the bench, and a penalty will be called against Grenier for an elbow. So the second power play the Comets have had cut short by a penalty of their own. Grenier, after just 48 seconds on the advantage, he'll go to the box for an elbowing penalty of his own. And so 4-on-4 will be the result. Face off for Friesen and Wheel. With 10:29 to go in regulation, Comets down 6-2 as the Utica controls the faceoff. Biega stops behind Joachim Eriksson. Comes up near side, Comets skating from left to right. It is Friesen to Biega, all the way over for Corrado. Chipped in, Shinkarik after it. Risks a shot well wide of the goal. Kicked funny off the boards and jumped over the glass. And then Laverty swings his stick and bats the stick of Corrado away from him, and he'll be penalized for that. And it looks like we're getting 4-on-3 power play time for Utica for 53 seconds. Vincent Laverty didn't like the stick of Corrado near him. But what he did, and although it doesn't wind up hurting anybody, is a dangerous act. He took a full baseball bat swing at the stick of Frank Corrado, which was up around the face area. And so he's lucky even by accident he didn't connect with somebody and cause serious injury. So a penalty is called against the Manchester Monarchs captain. And 4-on-3 for the next 53 seconds as the Comets go back on the power play. Cal O'Reilly with Sven Berchi, Corey Conacher, and Bobby Sanguinetti. Unsportsmanlike conduct is the penalty as Sanguinetti sets up on the wall, plays to the slot for Conacher. Down to the goal line for O'Reilly. O'Reilly looking from the blue line. Back over Conacher. Touched it in front. Sanguinetti couldn't settle it down. The play was there. The pass just jumped. Conacher winds, fires. It's blocked out of play. Colin Miller got in front of the shot from Conacher. As it glanced off his body, went about 10 feet over the glass. The idea is to get the open look, even if it takes some time. You have to have patience, but you do not want to have too much of it. Manchester was very good on that 5-on-3 advantage, not allowing really any open lanes. And every time the Comets made the play they wanted to, they still had nothing to shoot at. Face-off pushed forward by O'Reilly. Berchi after it, but this one is wrapped around the boards by Miller. Conacher can't hold the zone as he raced to the wall, and Utica has to reset. Conacher brings it in down the wing. Corey Conacher will drop it off for O'Reilly. 19 seconds left of 4-on-3. Then it'll be 4-on-4 before the power play will restart for Utica. O'Reilly drops in, it's Berchi. Straight away Conacher. He'll leave to Sanguinetti. 9 seconds left on the 4-on-3. Berchi into the circle. Drops to Conacher, across for Sanguinetti, kicks it to the front, and that one taken by Shore and floated out of the zone. 4-on-4 now for 46 seconds before it will be a very brief Comets power play at the end. Corey Conacher behind his own net was pressured and got the puck to Clendenning. Will serve back for Nicholas Jensen. 6-2, Manchester leads it. 9 minutes remaining in the third period of Game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals. Manchester already leads the series 2-1. Looking to put a stranglehold on it. Game 5 will be tomorrow night here in Utica. Michael Mersch rushes ahead to the outside with a shot, and the first save for Joachim Eriksson since entering the game is made without incident, without a rebound and a whistle. 8:44 to go in the third. Comets down by 4. This is Utica Comets hockey and the Calder Cup Finals on TSN 1410 and 94.9 K-Rock.
It's amazing, one of a kind. The shine, the sparkle, it's perfect and it's priceless. It's the look in her eye. You cared enough to pick something just right. There's no one in your life who's more important. So whether it's a diamond engagement ring that promises a lifetime together or a necklace she can wear close to her heart, when she opens the package, she'll know just how much you love her, and you'll see it in her eyes. I'm Steve Lennon, and we want to be your jeweler.
If you're looking for lawn and garden equipment and want to buy from a local, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, stop by Charles D. Stahl Sales and Service. Stahl Sales and Service carries Husqvarna and Cub Cadet brands, along with Yanmar compact tractors. Charles D. Stahl services what they sell and always offer competitive prices, 0% financing, and much more. Proudly serving Herkimer and Oneida County for over 25 years. Stop by either of their 2 locations, Snells Bush Road in Little Falls or on River Road in Marcy. Visit Charles D. Stahl for all of your lawn and garden needs.
Looks all the way over.
This is the Utica Comets 2015 Calder Cup Playoffs on 94.9 K-Rock.
4-on-4 for 16 more seconds. Comets down 6-2 here in the third period of Game 4 of the Calder Cup Finals. Brennan Burke here at the Utica Memorial Auditorium. We appreciate you tuning in, however and wherever you may be listening. Into the zone comes Will Acton, tried to dance by 2. Didn't work out so well, and it's flown back out to center ice. Comets power play for 17 seconds as Grenier comes out of the box, but Utica's still back in their own end. Viega with speed to the left wing for Corrado. Corrado up across the line with 8 on the power play. Risks a shot well wide of the net. Picked up by Wasey Hamilton. Fed to the point. Jensen's headhunter goes off the glass. Corrado pins it here. Laverty comes out of the box. And it's 5-on-5 once more as DeFazio. As it knocked off his stick behind the net. Wasey Hamilton popped it in the air. He and Laverty come together. Hamilton goes down. Puck stays in the zone though. DeFazio lining up forward. Puts him up against the glass, but he had gotten rid of the puck. Bodnerchuk sails it across for Michael Mersch, working on Anderson. Anderson will speed back and pull away from Mersch. Far side now, it is Bobby Sanguinetti. Off the boards, Jensen cuts back to get it. Jensen protecting it in front of his own goal dangerously, navigates out to center ice. Lost a handle on it and couldn't stay on side, as Zaleski takes a hit from Auger just as the whistle came for the offsides call. 7.5 minutes remaining in the third period. Comets down by a 6-2 margin. Game 5 is scheduled tomorrow night at 7 p.m. The final game of the series that will take place here at the Utica Memorial Auditorium. And the Comets will be playing to make sure it is not the final game of the American Hockey League season, more than likely. Monarchs wheel wins it back. Miller up to Sean Backman. Backman dumped down to the ice by Anderson, pinched in. And Miller behind for Gravel. He's hit by DeFazio. Double teamed as Friesen gets involved. Penalty upcoming on Corey Conacher, I believe, as he knocked down Colin Miller. And then Miller gets up and starts shouting at Corey Conacher, but the linesman won't let them get close enough for anything further. And so Corey Conacher will be the next in line on his first trip to head to the box. A slashing call against the Comets' feisty winger. Corey Conacher, Sven Berchi, the 2 trade deadline acquisitions by the Vancouver Canucks to help out this Utica Comets team on March the 2nd. Conacher, the former Norfolk Admiral, has a Calder Cup ring, an AHL MVP, and Rookie of the Year, all in that same season. Sven Berchi, a first-round pick in his own right. Both were huge additions to the Comets offense. Berchi has one of the 2 goals in this game for Utica and has 8 in 20 playoff games. The only games he missed were the first 2 against Chicago, as he was called up to Vancouver, who were in the playoffs, as Eriksson makes a save on a Colin Miller shot from the line. Power play time here for Manchester. Their 5th of the game. Bodnerchuk, backdoor across, then to the top. Miller with a high shot that nearly decapitated Crescenzi, found the glass and goes out of play. Joachim Eriksson is saying that faceoff should be outside the zone. The guys in stripes say it should stay in. Faceoff closer to the far boards than the near, as TJ Luxmore comes over and has a little chat with Joachim Eriksson. Garrett Rank, the other referee today, is also quite the golfer. He's actually part of Team Canada in the upcoming Pan Am Games as an amateur golfer. And he actually played a tournament this morning just outside of Rochester, the Monroe Invitational in Pittsford, New York. It's a puck shot wide of the net. By the way, he shot a 71 and is tied for 12th after play this morning. Here's Will Acton up from center ice. And he'll lob it back behind the net. Bartosak is out to stop it. 6:25 to go in the third period. 70 seconds left on the Conacher penalty. 6-2, Manchester leads it. Looking for more. Left wing O'Brien snaps one wide of the net. And it comes up around the boards, kept in by Laverty. Jamfrey looking for Down again, who's a goal shy of the hat trick. Tried to center to Backman, stolen and rushed up ice by Zaleski. Zaleski coming in hard down the wall, throws a good hit there, knocking down Kevin Gravel. But the puck carried up ice by the speedy Backman. Backman tried to drop it off, lost it, got it back, then Grantz had a stick on it. Hamilton got involved. Still, it's the Monarchs controlling. Down, across the ice. Winding is Ebert with a shot that sailed wide. Near side boards, it's Forborg. Forborg for Down, back to Forborg, into the left circle. Coming down low, penalty upcoming here. It is against Utica. Frankie Corrado, he will go as well, and he's being sent to the dressing room here. And Clendenning is going as well. He knocked down O'Brien. This is coming with 5 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the third period. Both Clendening and Corrado, two of the Comets' 6 defensemen, have just been sent to the locker room. Not a 2-minute minor. At least not only a 2-minute minor. And now the Comets are going to be forced to play with only 4 defensemen left for the final 5.5 minutes of this hockey game. And we'll have at least 21 seconds to kill off this for the existing penalty to Corey Conacher, and presumably more penalties to be handed out. I'm not sure why Corrado's penalty prompted him to be, for all intents and purposes, ejected from the hockey game. We'll have to wait for the announcement. Plenty of things to sort out here. And an explanation needs to be given to Travis Green. And no matter what it is, he won't like it. He's getting it right now from TJ Luxmore, who called both penalties against Corrado and Clendening. Corrado's was during play, Clendening's was after the fact. They haven't put any time up on the board. I'm presuming they will. But the scorer's table needs some explanation on this too. Grenier will go over and serve the penalty. I'm assuming that's Corrado's. Why he was given anything extra, I'm not quite sure. And again, I'm assuming it's 10-minute misconducts with only 5.5 minutes to go in the game. 2 minutes on the board being served by Grenier. 5-on-3 here for 21 seconds. As Dowd will take the draw for Manchester, and the Monarchs already up 6-2. Biega wrapped the wall, but it was kept in by Forward. Forward across the ice, closing in is Ebert. Ebert down to the goal line, and it's Adrian Kempe. Monarchs not bothering with a power play unit here. Actually going with their third line as they shoot it in front. It's wide of the net, picked up by Kempe. Conacher coming out of the box as Dowd's quick shot was blocked by Biega. And it's now 5-on-4 for 95 seconds. Out of the line, it is taken by Kempe. As he drops it off at the line, it is Ebert, and then Forward. Forward, near side, all the way across the ice. It is Kempe mishandling, and then it's taken by Acton. He can't clear it. This one shot on goal, a save by Eriksson, and the puck played to the boards. Biega will take his time, slide it across for Huskins, who will take more time and clear it down. The penalties were, in fact, 2 minutes for roughing against Corrado and a 10-minute misconduct, and then a 10-minute misconduct given to Adam Clendening. 1 minute to go on the 5-on-4 power play for Manchester. 4.5 remaining in the third period. Monarchs up by 4. Sanguinetti takes a hit from Backman along the boards. As it's dug after and squirts free, Eriksson stopped it for his countryman Anderson, who goes off the glass and all the way down. Bartosak has only been tested 22 times. He has made 20 saves, and all of them since the first period. Comets scored twice at the tail end of the first to erase a 2-goal lead for Manchester, and the Monarchs have scored 4 unanswered to follow. Puck drop behind the Manchester goal with 20 seconds remaining on the penalty being served by Grenier, credited to Frank Corrado. Joachim Eriksson to Biega. Biega off the wall, back to himself, but couldn't clear it around Dowd. Now it's Forward. He dropped it off, taken away, and Biega will clear it. Final 5 seconds left on the Grenier serve penalty. Bissonnette, who we haven't seen since probably the first period, is out on the ice right now for Manchester as Grenier comes out of the box for Utica. 3.5 minutes to go as we're back at 5-on-5. Puck skated up the left wing boards. Forward takes a shoulder from Jensen, but is able to work it in, and no icing here as Anderson and Bissonnette tie up, allowing Bobby Sanguinetti to get the puck. Sanguinetti to Jensen. Jensen on for O'Reilly. 2-on-2 into the zone. Now 3-on-3. O'Reilly went back across. Jensen shot stopped by Bartosak. Rebound pop free, and now off in the corner. Jensen has Huskins, can't get it to him. Cuts down to the goal line. Tough angled shot. Tried to slide it for Sanguinetti. It got blocked back behind the net. Loose puck sprays near side. Adrian Kempe barreled into by Grenier. Tried to force it down low, instead ripped away, and Kempe is able to skate out to center before curling back into his own end for Kevin Gravel. St. Cloud State product feeds it across to Andrew Bodnarchuk. And we're down to the final 2 minutes and 35 seconds of the third period. Comets will be facing elimination tomorrow night in Game 5, and the final game scheduled here on their home turf. This is the first game Comets have lost in regulation in their last 5. They had 2 losses in their last 5 games, but both were in overtime. Both games 1 and 2 of this series as Acton scores! He pumps one in off a rebound and makes it 6-3. First of the playoffs for Will Acton. The Comets finally get a little pressure. Patrick Bartosak leads the rebound, and Will Acton is able to put it into the empty net. He beat Derek Forvort on the puck. A goal that probably could have easily been avoided. But Acton is first, and a positive note perhaps for the Comets to take with them into tomorrow.
On Will Acton! Assistant number 40, Peter Anderson. And number 6, Bobby Sanguinetti. Goal scored at 17:54.
Well, it stops the bleeding after 4 consecutive goals scored by Manchester to open up what was a 2-2 tie. But it comes a little too little left on the clock as Lacey Hamilton will start the rush ahead for Utica. Played to Brendan Gaunce. 90 seconds to go in the third as it's played to Mike Zaleski. Zaleski dropped down to his knees but couldn't keep the puck in the zone, and then flipped back in by Anderson. Delayed offsides. Comets will get a change. And Acton, Shinkarik, and DeFazio will get another shift here with 1:15 to go. Rushed ahead by Laverty, the captain for Manchester. Smacked off the boards by Sanguinetti. Right to Colin Miller, though, off the bench. He'll rim it around Erickson. And Erickson out of his net was able to stop it. Markstrom started the game, allowed 6 goals on 33 shots. Erickson has seen just 4 shots come his way since entering. And on the far side, Biega to go grab it. As he drops it, it's picked up by Will Acton. Acton towards Shinkarik, stolen away by Kempe, but right back to Anderson. Left side to Fazio into the zone, looking for some space, floats it down. Shinkarik to the backhand. He couldn't get it to go and roll off the outside of the net. And now it's covered up by Bartosak. A nice job on what was a tough puck to control for Hunter Shinkarik. Got it where he wanted it, but couldn't finish the job. Down to 33.7 left here in the third period. Game 5 will be tomorrow night. If you're listening to us on K-Rock, of course, we'll have the broadcast for you. Same story on AHL Live. It will not be on Sirius XM tomorrow because of Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final. And this game will be carried live in Vancouver on TSN 1040 tomorrow, with puck drop coming at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Half a minute to go. Friesen steps down the wall for Zaleski. Friesen knocked down. Zaleski fall on top of him, and now it's Kempe back up ice. Adrian Kempe wrists one, and a blocker save by a standing Erickson. Far side boards, and then back down behind the net. Ken Huskins is there. 14 on the clock. Played back for Alex Biega. Biega run into by Bissonnette, but gives the puck to Huskins. Huskins drops it off. Bissonnette comes over to finish an unnecessary check with 4 seconds to go. And a nice job by the crowd here. Game 4 goes to the Monarchs by a 6-3 final. But the team is greeted by the chant of Utica on their way off the ice here at the Utica Memorial Auditorium. They are disappointed, but they are not dejected, and they will be back tomorrow. Manchester with a convincing 6-3 win tonight. They've got control of this series 3-1. The Comets and the Calder Cup on the line tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. We're coming back to the New York State Tool Post Game Show next. We'll break this one down for you and and get you ready for tomorrow night as well. You're listening to Utica Comets Hockey and the Calder Cup Finals on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, TSN 1410 and 94.9 KROC.